Welcome to Barcelona for the final round of the 2016 Blancpain GT Series. Many titles to be sorted, both overall and in the Sprint Cup. But let's first look back to the action last time out at the Hungaroring, round 4 of the Sprint Cup, and so difficult to overtake down into the first corner. Tristan Vautier leading the way in the ACA ASP Mercedes, but he ran wide. Two of the WRT Audis dived up the inside through turn 2, really right in the thick of the battle with the Nissan. But down into turn 3 it went wrong. Vautier ran a little wide, pushed both of the WRT Audis towards the outside of the circuit and through to take the lead. The 84 Mercedes given to them on a plate. Super tight around the opening lap, a little too tight in incidents around the top part of the circuit. But the full course yellow was called because one of the McLarens was off Martin Plowman's car. That had to be cleared. So the field bunched up as soon as it was released. It was super tight out of the circuit. Christopher Mies and Frederick Vervisch, 33 and 1, getting side by side on the run past the pit lane. This is the battle for second place down into turn 1, but that 84 Mercedes starting to eke its way clear. Maxi Buch leading the way, not all good for the Attempto Racing 100 Lamborghini, and that's how close it was in the pit stops. The WRT Audi crew got number 1 crew so close to the 84 Mercedes, but Mercedes came out in front, and that was to count at the Hungaroring. More WRT battling, 4 and 3, the Brazilian crew just being passed down there through turn 3. Take a look, a ride around the circuit. That's one of the ISR Audis, the 74 running a little bit wide. How thick is the battle? And there, that's when it got just that little bit too close. One of the Grasser Racing Lamborghinis taking a blow at the penultimate corner of the circuit. Also going for a spin, the 55 AF Corsa Ferrari across the nose of the number 11 Kessel Racing Ferrari as well. But how's that for a drift from one of the Mercedes? But the winning car there taking the line. Baumann and Buch, victory in the 84 Mercedes. Super close behind. Second and third places to the WRT Audi crews, but advantage the 84 crew. One crew coming to the Circuit de Catalunya for the final round with their heads held very high indeed. Already crowned the Pro-Am champions. Michel Bronicheski sharing this season with Giacomo Piccini to great effect in the Kessel Racing Ferrari 488 GTE.
Not many drivers was making overall both championship. That's why I collect from both and a couple of winning on the beginning of the season. Yes, that's why the result is very nice. Oh, we are driving already second season. A lot of testing. We are preparing this season, and we have very good balance. But nice to work together. It's nice to share the car. It's working very well for us.
Claudio Stanovic is a driver who's had a fantastic 2016 season in the AF Corsa number 55 Ferrari, leading the AM class overall, leading the AM class in the Sprint Cup, and this weekend can take the Teams Championship at AF Corsa if all goes well. On this season's form, it probably will.
It's an amazing situation to be in both parts of the championship in the leading position. For sure, the motivation to finish the season with potentially 2 wins this weekend is the main goal. And the other story is we are leading the team championship as well by 10 points, and the team wants us to be on the top of the team championship as well. So these are all the motivations for this weekend.
So many titles to be decided here at the Spanish finale, and Michele Beretta, driving for the Grasser Lamborghini team, has had a wonderful run recently, and he's looking very good indeed for the honours in the Silver Cup.
I'm pretty confident. I mean, we can bring it home, the Silver Cup, and we have to, because it's important, but we want to fight for the top, because since now we missed a little bit something to get some good points in top 5, but we were quite close in some races like the Castellet, the Endurance Cup, and just a little mistake that we could do better and bring at home some good results.
Belgian racer Enzo Ida comes to Spain for potentially the largest weekend of his racing career. He could win the Sprint Cup. New teammate this weekend in Robin Frieds, but with a 17 points advantage, a podium position could be enough for the title.
Yeah, I feel quite comfortable. For this weekend I will have a new teammate, Robin Friends, but he's used to the team. He's doing both endurance and sprint championships, so he's used to the car, used to the team, so I don't think this should be a big disadvantage. We will see, you know, it's only 17 points, 34 points to be distributed, so everything can happen. We can have technical incident on track, so you never know what's going to happen in a race weekend, but Of course, it's better to start in P1 than to start in the 5th position and try to win.
So high is the level of competition in the Blancpain GT series that getting to the top in one race is hard enough. Getting it to the top in a 10-race series is another thing entirely. But Rob Bell and the McLaren crew have had a fantastic season. Will they make it 2 titles in Spain?
Anything to do with Blancpain GT is incredibly hard to win. It's incredibly hard to win a race, let alone a championship. So to be at the last race with a shot at winning another title with such a great car, great team, is absolutely phenomenal, you know, and I'm loving the position that we're in. And we're in it because we've done, you know, we've put some hard work in. But, you know, there's this last race, we've got to get lucky, we've got to work hard for 2 more days. And if we can pull it off, then it would be absolutely amazing season. It's been a great season so far, and it can be off the chart, absolutely amazing.
Maximilian Bug is another driver with a lot to play for in Barcelona. Second in the Sprint Cup at the moment, but also in with a chance of the outright title after a really strong team season with HTP Motorsport.
I mean, it's difficult with 17 points, but at the end, we need to try to win and hope that maybe the others are having some problems, and then we'll see. But we go into this weekend like any weekend before, so we'll see. When you see that we are in the lead in the overall championship, it just shows everybody that we have been consistent throughout the whole year, sprint and endurance. And at the end, it's really satisfying to see us on top at the end, at the last race, to fight for the championship.
Another driver from HTP Motorsport who's had a fantastic season is Jules Simkowiak. He comes to Barcelona 3rd placed overall, sharing with Bernd Schneider, and certainly fancies his chances of taking outright honours here at the final round of the season.
You know, it depends on the conditions, depends on how the car is running, how we are doing. And I'm just looking forward to give my best and see what we can get out. I'm here, you know, like everybody, to win. I'm gonna give everything I have. I have a birthday tomorrow, so that's maybe an extra motivation, and we'll see what comes out. Just try not to make mistakes with such a big field, so many cars. You know, a lot of things can happen also for championship leader or anybody else. Of course, I don't wish them that. I wish them all the best, but stay focused.
Welcome to the Circuit de Catalunya on a sunny Sunday morning, the qualifying race, 1 hour of action. John Watson and I relishing the action. It's been an extraordinary meeting so far. Incredible qualifying yesterday, high drama, but conditions absolutely spot on. Well, here is the grid, John. Frank Pereira pulled out that amazing qualifying lap, so he put his ISR Audi on the front row. Friens and Ida, look out for them, because of course they can wrap up the Sprint Cup here today. It can be taken from them by the 84 Audi, Mercedes crew. There they are, Buch and Baumann starting from 8th on the grid, but they're probably more interested in the outright honours in the championship for the 84 Mercedes crew. Looking for some movers down through the pack. Certainly, we talked about the Audis tripping themselves up, including that number 1 entry, Frederick Vervish. He's always fantastic on the opening lap of a race, so we'll certainly look for him. For Rob Bell and the McLaren crew, again, they keep their powder dry. They come good when it gets to qualifying. Starting near the front there, we can see 58 from 6th on the grid.
Yeah, I mean, the opening lap will be key because it very much creates the pattern for the race. The big difference between maybe what we saw in the afternoon and Saturday afternoon qualifying is track conditions are, I would say, as good as they're going to get for a Sunday. As we go through the day, the track will warm up. The track changes dramatically as temperatures change. And this is going to be an even warmer day, I think, than we saw in qualifying. Right now, we've got almost virtually clear blue sky. But the drivers have got the conditions. They've got to deal with it. They have to manage their tyres, and that is the other factor. That is an issue in Barcelona. The nature of the racetrack, it's an aggressive surface. So when the tyre goes into its cycle, and you've got to maybe between 25 minutes and 35 minutes to make that mandatory pit stop.
Look how tight it is, a car park on the move at the moment. Now through turns, as they go out of 15, they can start to open out a little bit more space for them to play with. 2x2 formation. Who will lead down to the first corner? Will it be the 74 Audi of Frank Pereira? Will it be Mirko Bortolotti going increasingly well in the Lamborghini? But in terms of the race start, the most interesting one is what Robin Friens can do with the 33 Audi from 3rd place. Lights are red, lights are out. Very clean start from pole position, looking for a charge to the back. Pretty much even Stevens. Is the camera still on the side of the McLaren? Yes, it is. Gone to the outside of the track with Alvaro Parent at the wheel. There is that wonderful low shot. You are joining the heart of the action, John, down into turn 1. The good thing hoping that camera hasn't been knocked off. The car has, though. It's gone off the circuit at turn 1.
Yeah, Rob Bell didn't. He didn't get knocked. He went off track. He drove wide coming out of turn 1. But everybody very, very bunched up coming through turns 1 and 2. But it was Mirko Bortolotti that got the advantage down into turn 1, and also being pressurised, I think, by Robin Freins, who started directly behind that pole position car. But in fact, the Mercedes got through.
Well, so hard to tell. We can see there the 74 Audi is next, so was losing ground, front Pereira. But look, Robin Freins into the lead of the race. Enzo Ida can't afford to jump up and down
Contact with the 88 Mercedes and Frank Pereira, so something has happened to Pereira, whether he's got a tire cut down, probably the most likely thing. So contact at turn 5 as the Mercedes consolidates, and again, look at that, the 84 car directly behind that.
Yeah, Pereira certainly something untoward. He was well placed into that first corner sequence, the 1 and 2 so close together, then maybe pushed a little bit wide to the outside and lost loads of places. And number 4 is off. That is Dries van Tor. Enzo Ida's relieved it's not his own car that is leading the race, and for Enzo, he's waiting, he's determined to land the Sprint Cup today. This is the qualifying race. Look how close it is at the front. Look how the McLaren is really, really on the charge. And right under the tail of Mirko Bortolotti's Lamborghini, drops back a little bit to get a slingshot out of turn 12 and then down towards 13. We'll see who comes round at the end of the lap. At the front, it's been a good lap for the 85 Mercedes crew, sorry, the 86 Mercedes crew, the one with the green stripe. They've got up to about 3rd position, but the best lap of all, I wanted to see how Robin Freins would go in the 33 Audi, and beneath our commentary position with almost a 2-second lead. Let's see what it is. It's a 2-second lead as they come past.
Everybody running very wide coming out of turn 16. But what is interesting is how did Robin Freins get that lead, because though he was on the inside coming down into turn 1, we need to get a replay as we see Dries van Thor's Audi being retrieved from, well, I'm not quite sure which part of the track it is. It's going back to the 23 Nissan, and it is down in 13th position.
So it's actually
number 8 Bentley all over the back, and they had contact from the Bentley in the back of the Audi, so whether that was bodywork from the Bentley or the Audi, difficult to tell, but it was side by side and almost banging one another. Well, the 75 not going to give up Philippe Salaquada.
No, Philippe Salaquada, it was his bodywork, went into the rear right fender, then a little more damage on the other flank, so really, really tight stuff. Take a look at the start, John. How do you read this?
It's the 3rd car, the Audi on the left-hand side as it comes down. That's Robin Freins, but you see also the red Mercedes Felix Rosenqvist trying to make it a sort of 5-wide run down. At this point, Mirko Bortolotti looked to have the lead, but then it's Robin Freins dives down the inside, and the Lamborghini looks like it might have consolidated 2nd, but it gets squeezed. But you know, how many cars wide can you get on the straight coming down into the turn 1? But a great run by Robin Freins. Mirko Bortolotti looked like he was going to be in position, but then got squeezed. And that's why those cars cut the inside. Now I wonder, will they have to give those positions back up?
Well, we'll have to see, but what you could see was Jules Simkowiak came so wide, and Alvaro Perez and the McLaren had to sort of go wide to avoid him, but both of them were wide off the circuit. Simkowiak got back on across, but it all worked so well indeed for Robin Freins up the inside. Well, Robin Freins looking very, very calm there, and it's worth pointing out the car in 2nd place, Jules Simkowiak, sharing with Bernd Schneider. If they finish the race as they are now, they'll go 2nd in the Sprint Cup ahead of the feature race, because they're only 3 points behind the sister car, 84. Enzo Ida, arms across his chest, looking at the screen. It's going absolutely as he could have dreamt of.
Then we go back to the 22. Nissan making a pass down into turn 1. Let's have a look and see what's happening. Oh yeah, but
it's a replay. Well, that's where things get too close. Nicky Katzberg, a lap ago, it got a little bit hairy, and I guess it'll continue to be a bit hairy because the 98 BMW was determined to get past. Very dusty moment for Walkinshaw. That is why he was out of position. Now we're starting to look towards the pit stop time coming up very soon. How long?
Drive-through penalty to car 86 and 58.
86 and 58 have got drive-through penalties for going wide at the first corner. That's the 2nd place car on the track. That's Jules Simkowiak, and it's the 4th place car. It's Alvaro Perez. It's that McLaren, the Garage 59 McLaren. So having just discussed the point, saying that his teammate Rob Bell is within 2 points in the overall championship, but it also brings 84 2 places further forward.
But not that, they've got to make that drive-through penalty before they make their pit stop, and the window pit stop is going to open up in under a minute, so that is a really tough break for the 58 and the 86.
Oh, we've got a bit of a change there. That's the number, which is the 26. That's the Bononomi Mike Parisi car, number 26. That already had damage on the front end. That's Alvaro Perez.
He's doing the right thing. Make the drive-through penalty at the earliest opportunity.
84, Rosenqvist is in. Book is in,
And the Bentley as
Soule
well,
is
yeah.
in, and so let's see how good these pit stops can be. The Bentley, the first to its pit garage, that's the closest to pit entry, but suddenly this is looking pretty good for Book and Baumann in the 84 Mercedes. But what I did notice is Robin Friens, his lap times are dropping away, but not as fast as the laps are dropping away for those behind him.
No.
He's keeping his tyres sweeter for longer.
What's critical here is for the HTP team to turn around the 84 car, get Dominic Baumann behind the wheel, and get out ahead of the 88 AKA ASP Mercedes-Benz, the car that was basically holding up that group of 3 other cars behind. So the pit work between the 2 Mercedes teams, as we Alvaro Brent back out, so he will probably be coming back in probably at the end of this lap to hand over to Rob Bell, having served his penalty. Waiting to see Semkoviak making his penalty before he can make go. There we go, quick, get it. Oh, is it a safe release? Is it an unsafe release?
Well, 8 has moved ahead of 84 then in that pit
It
stop.
did. And more importantly, the 88 got out ahead as well.
Yeah, well, the 88 was ahead coming in, so it stretched his advantage, but that was the proper place change between 8 and 84.
And in fact, 2 cars got ahead of the Mercedes. So HTP's pit stop clearly didn't get the job done.
I just want to point out 85 has been investigated for incident at turn 5 with the 26 Audi that we saw the Audi in the gravel. So for Jasm and Jafar, no penalty listed as yet. Release of car 84 under investigation. If you're a championship challenger, put your hand up and an incident will come to you. We queried that. We thought it was very close indeed. So which championship challenger hasn't got a problem at the moment? In terms of the Sprint Cup, it's the 33 Audi that's leading the race. There's the black helmeted Enzo Ida. 8-6, 4-3-2-1 for the top 6, and you'd have to say it would be a disaster if this one doesn't pick up at least the 1 point for 6th place, but looking really for the full 8 points on offer this afternoon. Robin Friens, his morning's work has come to a conclusion once he's popped his belts, brought the car to a standstill in front of the WRT pits.
Out one gets, in the other gets. Plenty of time for a driver change. The seat insert that Robin Friens uses has been removed. Going to the left rear removed. The new tire goes on, picks up the old one. Car down.
And of course, one of the advantages.
And that's a quick stop. I mean,
a very quick stop.
Really good stop.
Back out. So that's worked incredibly well. Back out to go on to a practice session. Where is everybody else? Wonderful. Long shot. Behind is the answer,
Bruce,
of course,
the answer
John.
is they're behind.
But there's also no other traffic, and pit window now closed. WRT did their job absolutely well. The car that should be coming through in second place should be that Lamborghini number 63 with Nicolas Pola on board, or has, in fact, the Audi from Pereira got out ahead, which is okay. The Lamborghini's got ahead of the Audi, so they went to the lap earlier. The Audi, just as we went looking for it, that has come out, and
there is the 88 Mercedes-Benz now with Tristan Vautier.
That's 4th place.
He's running in clear air. He's got nobody behind him, no pressure. All he needs to do is just focus on what he can do with the 74 Audi directly ahead of him.
Now picking off the Black Pearl Racing Ferrari, easily done there in the chasing pack. Oh, the place is made. Very easy. I'd say that Will Stevens said, up you go then. You've been pushing, through you go. We're focusing heavily at the moment on what's happening in the Sprint Cup, because, of course, if the 33 Audi goes on to win this race, it is almost as close to home as you can be, but agonisingly not quite there. We'll have to see if the number 84 Mercedes can get into the points. 85, interesting, we just got that team manager to race control immediately. That was a car that had contact early in the race and was under investigation. So 85 and 86 from the HTP Motorsport camp in trouble. 84 in its own sort of trouble, because it's not getting pinged for anything, but it's not running right where they want it to be.
So that's the focus there, with the 88 Mercedes being challenged by Lawrence Van Thor, who has done a great job to bring that car all the way up. Frederic Ravish started to get the car into position up the inside of the Mercedes. So Lawrence Van Thor has put himself into position, but can he maintain it as he goes past one of the Ferraris? Now the Mercedes back. Now the undercut's going to come from Van Thor, and he may get it done this time finally, because he's got the better drive and he's got the track position. So Tristan Vautier looks again to get up the inside. He doesn't want to give it up.
Well, looking for changes further down the field. We wanted to see if Rob Bell could advance. He will, but that's BY 1 place gain, because car 85 is getting a drive-through penalty. That's ahead of him on the circuit. Clement Schmidt at the wheel at the moment for causing a collision. But good news for car 84, under investigation for an unsafe release. That's been dismissed. So for 84, that's one concern they don't have at the moment, but their main concern with 9 and a bit minutes remaining is how to score a point in the remaining handful of laps. They have to gain 2 places to do so. They have to get ahead of the number 8 Bentley. They're too far back. They're about 3.5 seconds down on that Bentley.
This car has not shown pace all morning. And it's driven around both Maximilian Buch and Dominic Baumann. They've driven wheel perfect events, but so far nothing to indicate that that car got enough speed. So 85 getting that warning, or not warning, it's got the advice to make a drive through for causing a collision.
That was with the 26 Audi. Let's have a look. Well, the rather tattered already Audi goes to the outside.
Yeah, you have to say that was a bit of a dunk.
Yes, dunk and off, but that had already bearing the scars, we think, from its collision on the opening lap. So stretching the lead, we've got 7.5 minutes remaining. Can anyone do anything to topple the 33 Audi? Started by Robin Frieds, up from 3rd on the grid, into the lead by the opening corner. Handful of cars got it wrong at the opening corner, and 2 of the leading challengers picked up drive-through penalties. But one of the stories of the race, the 84 Mercedes really needed to score points in this qualifying race. There are 25 points up for grab in the feature race this afternoon. 25 points for victory, nothing for anyone outside the top 10. But it looks like the gap between them and the car that's leading the race will be 25 points after the flag falls in under 10 minutes this morning. So for Enzo Ida, that puts him just so on the cusp of winning the Sprint Cup. But for the 84 crew, as we see Alvaro Parent looking frustrated in the garage after that drive-through penalty. This race could have been so good for them. They were running 4th, but the drive-through penalties put them down. Well, they're in 18th place.
You know, that's always the danger here in Turn 1 in Barcelona.
Enzo Ida not having to take risks. The gap came down by half a second last time around, but he's still 12.6 second clears. And now look how close it is. 2nd, 3rd and 4th covered by 1.5 seconds. The meat in the sandwich there is Marlon Stockinger in the 74 Audi. 63 Polar Lamborghini not being troubled at the moment because Stockinger is having to look in his mirrors because the number 1 Audi is coming. And Lawrence Van Tor, you can just see how much more handling he's getting out of the car as he goes through the big sweep at turn 3. Round long turn 4 they go, then they'll drop down the hill. One of the HCP Mercedes is just rumbling through. That is the 85 car serving its drive-through penalty for causing a collision. And the 74 Audi has just gone out of 3rd place. Marlon Stockinger. Oh, he obviously reacted to the pressure from behind from the number 1 Audi, and that's got it wrong at turn 5, deep in the gravel. So let's take a look at the replay. Coming out of turn 4, did Lawrence Van Tor dive up the inside? There is the answer to your question, dived up the inside. Can we see any marks on the side of the car? You cannot do that, but anyhow, here we are, under half a minute on the clock. This is the final lap of the race, and in terms of the Sprint Cup, that's what Enzo Ida is focusing on. There is his mother, she's starting to believe. Down the hill, big understeer moment there, so keep the concentration, Enzo. That's just where his sister car, the number 1 Audi, got so close to 74 Audi just a few moments ago, fighting for 3rd place. But Enzo, he's got half the lap to go. And so frustrating for him. If he ends up, he cannot wrap up the Sprint Cup until this afternoon in the main race. And as we've seen, plenty can happen. But now look what is trying to happen on the circuit is the number 1 Audi fancies taking 2nd place on this, the final lap. Can Nicolas Pola in the green Lamborghini hold on? He ran a little bit wide, but just did enough to slot into position ahead and hold down 2nd place over the top part of the circuit. Through turn 9 they go. Now there could be a possible overtaking maneuver down the inside, and here it comes down into turn 10. Trademark place to do it, and got the move done. Trying to cut back underneath goes Nicolas Pola. Of course, the number 1 Audi was later on the brakes. Place has been regained, and the Lamborghini's got far enough across to block off the inside, or has he? And up goes, well, the place must go back the other way, and Van Tor wheels on the dirt. Pola does not want to give him any circuit. Now he's got no choice. Down the inside, but through the final corner to take the checkered flag comes Enzo Ida. Robin Fried started the race, did a wonderful job, but all eyes on what's happening further back down the lap. Out of the final corner we go, and it's a WRT 1-2 because Lawrence Van Tor has fought from 18th place with teammate Frederick Vervisch up to take 2nd from the flag. And Thierry Tassin, Vincent Vos and the Ida family, well, congratulations to them. They are almost there for the Sprint Cup, but far more exciting, and we've got to wait until this afternoon. And did Dominic Baumann get into the points? No, he didn't. Number 84 came home agonizingly for him. 1 position out of the points. Okay, I'm just receiving news. There's always a twist in the tale. 30-second penalty. Dramatic pause for car number 1 for causing an accident. That was the collision with the 74 Audi. So instead of finishing second on the circuit, that has dropped it to 13th, and that process means the 84 Mercedes has gained a point, has moved up to 6th place overall. So Nicholas Pola, yes, he went from 3rd back to 2nd, but it means, Enzo, I've got to break the news to you, my friend, as you drive in, your lead is 24 points, not 25. It's still a huge lead going into the race this afternoon, but a twist in the tail, that very positive drive from Lawrence Vantora, judged to have had contact. We couldn't tell from the angle as he went past the 74 Audi, but what we can tell you is Enzo Ida and Robin Frient's victory in the qualifying race. So let's find out what our winners think. John Watson has gone down to join them.
Robin Frient, you made that look rather easy.
Yeah, it's never easy. The start was very important as I had new tires on. So yeah, I found a gap, and the team said don't take any big risks, which I didn't from my side. I saw a clean gap, and if I see a gap, I go for it.
I mean, having the new tires, what in real terms per lap, how much advantage is that, particularly in clear air?
I don't know. I was pulling away quite easily at the beginning. After a couple of laps, I had a gap from 6 seconds, and I was keep on pushing for if something happens, like full goes yellow or whatever. When I came in, just before I came in, I had a gap from 8.5 or so, and yeah, Enzo was free and he took it easy.
Well done. Enzo, you looked a bit nervous before you got into the car, but a great turnaround by the WRT team got you out comfortably in the lead.
Yeah, it's true. Great teamwork. This guy, unbelievable. So for me, I had the most easiest stint of the season, so I had no pressure, just kept a good pace and everything went fine, no mistakes. So for the 4th time in P1 now in this season.
So you say no pressure. What about the pressure to start this afternoon then?
Yeah, that will be a little bit more pressure, but
turn 1's always messy.
I know it's messy, but we managed all the season, so I think if everybody uses his brain a little bit, it should be okay.
Well, I don't want to rain your parade, but the pair of you are almost there.
I know.
Well done.
Good interview there from John Watson with Enzo Ida and Robin Frient, and you can just see Enzo is within touching distance, but he can't let himself believe. But the fact is, he started this morning. There is the finishing order. Taking 33 laps. Victory for Enzo Ida and Robin Frient. Nicholas Pola and Mirko Bortolotti second in their Lamborghini. Tristan Vautier and Felix Rosenqvist third in the 88 Mercedes. And a car that made progress all race, Maxime Soulet and Andy Soucek on his home ground in the number 8 Bentley. And what you don't see on that screen is the McLaren crew, because McLaren 58 from Garage 59 down in 16th place at the end. And for Rob Bell, who was challenging for the overall title, that's been a bit of a setback. But luckily for him, the crew he's chasing down, Baumann and Buch, picked up just the 1 point. So their advantage has gone out to 6 points in the overall championship. Enzo Ida in the Sprint Cup, ahead of Christopher Mies, his teammate. Christopher not here. 87 points against, fittingly, the 63 points to Maxi Buch and Dominic Baumann. There are 25 points still to play for. He's 24 points clear. The Belgian so close, but the title not yet his. Jules Simkowiak and Bernd Schneider, they had slight problems in the race running, and they had the drive-through penalty, and that dropped them down to gain no points at all. They are 4th in the Sprint Cup Championship. And of course, this afternoon, all eyes will turn to the overall season championship, the combination of the Sprint Cups and the Endurance Cups run across all 10 rounds, and we'll see who comes out on the very top at that. Now here is Maxi Buch in the overall combined points, 130 points, along with his teammate Dominic Baumann. Rob Bell, no points this morning for him either. He goes on, starts the race this afternoon way down the grid on row 8. Out come the trophies. The Silver Cup trophy being presented first. 3rd place trophy to Felix Rosenqvist first, and alongside Tristan Vautier as well. That 2nd place trophies to Mirko Bortolotti on the left and Nicholas Pola on the right. Applause from Robin Frient, waiting of course for the biggest trophies of all for the qualifying race. Most importantly for Frient, and particularly for Enzo Ida, it's the 8 points that go with victory. So Enzo, handshake, he'll take the trophy, and looks very, very pleased indeed with his morning's performance along with Robin Frient. So there are the winners of the qualifying race. We're here Sunday afternoon, the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. The main race lies ahead of us, 25 minutes away. It's all to play for. A hugely exciting qualifying race this morning. We can certainly say that we have the Ida for Speeder. That's the message out on the Facebook pages. Enzo Ida within touching distance of taking the Sprint Cup. But the overall title race is as close can be. Baumann and Buch, the Mercedes racers, have just a 6-point advantage over Rob Bell. They'll be starting some positions ahead of the McLaren racer in this 1-hour race that's lying just ahead of us. But we've had so much incident today, you feel there's going to be plenty to follow in the hour of racing. Track conditions really good, the temperature warming up through the course of the day, slightly cloudy. But let's find out what's happening down on the grid with none other than John Watson with the man of the moment, Enzo Ida.
Enzo, it's a couple of hours or so since the qualifying race. How are the nerves at these minutes?
Yeah, still a little bit of nerves, you know. It's always, a start is always special, never the same. So I will try to stay out of trouble, make a clean stint and just stay out of trouble. I will not fight, I will fight, of course. I will not let them pass, but if they are too aggressive around me, I will take conclusions out of it. As you know, we only need to finish in the first 10, and the Mercedes should not win. So I think we are in a quite comfortable position, but still, I'm quite a lot of stress, but we will manage, I hope.
Robin Friends did the start in the qualifying race, did a great job to get the lead in turn 1. Has he explained to you how he did all that?
I mean, I don't know how he did it, but he did it great. And now I started P1, so I need to make sure that the guys behind me don't do the same like Robin did. So, but yeah, like I said, we will try.
Enzo, I mean, you're if I call you a gentleman driver, is probably incorrect. You're almost a professional driver, but this has been your greatest year. I mean, you've had some outstanding drives. I've been complimentary about some of what I think your best drives ever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year we were quite performing well also, but we had a lot of bad luck with technical failures, mistakes from our side, track limits. I don't know what we all had, but okay, this year we had no big issues so far. So it's one race left. So I think for sure it's the greatest season I ever had, and it would be great to win it. So yeah, looking forward. Within 1 hour and a few minutes, we'll know.
Well, you got your family here. I mean, is this in preparation for a big celebration or just a celebration?
I think it will be quite big, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I know you got a vineyard in the family assets.
Yeah, but
is it drinkable, that stuff you make?
Yeah, it's very good. And as I promised, I didn't forget.
We might join you in a glass there. Well done.
So John Watson angling for a free drink after the race. Enzo Ida, it must be so tantalising. 5 seasons of racing, just turned 25 this summer, and he's starting to match the pro boys, and he's starting right at the front end, being congratulated in advance or wished the best of luck by the head of SRO, Stefan Rettel, and talking to Vincent Vos, the boss of the Belgian Audi Club, Team WRT. So many cars in the race, but for them, stories within stories, but certainly starting from pole position. Let's see if they can make it 2 wins within a day. The car's still coming around to the grid. Full field of cars, and the strongest year yet for the Blancpain GT series. 54 cars have been out to play in the Endurance series, and we have 33 cars, unfortunately, here at Barcelona, because one of the 2 Bentleys, not the number 8 you can see, but the number 7, crashed yesterday morning, and the damage was too great for the car to continue. But let's find out another driver from car number 33, the driver who'll be taking the second leg. Down with John Watson, Robin Friends.
Robin, you had a pretty comfortable victory earlier today. Enzo's going to start. Turn 1's notorious. I've asked him, have you given him any advice? But have you?
Well, it's the start and the first few corners are always a bit of a gamble. You can't really explain what to do. You have to see what happens, where the cars are next to him or behind him or whatsoever. You just need to do the proper start and stay out of trouble. That's what I said, and hopefully it happens.
When you're in this very comfortable position of having a significant championship advantage, but you know and I know.
Yeah, everything can change. We couldn't have a problem with the car or, you know, whatever, and Buch wins and then it's all over. So we have to be concentrated, and hopefully we stay out of trouble and finish in the top 5.
And of course, there's another championship which is being fought for, which is the team championship, and WRT are chasing the HTP Mercedes-Benz team. So apart from the Drivers' Championship, that's an important team championship.
Yeah, it's important for the team as well, but as long as we are doing our best and finish as the best position we can do, that's all we can do at the moment.
Thank you.
So Robin Friens, a very busy driver, a man in huge demand, jetting off straight from this race to Hong Kong for the opening round of Series 3 of Formula E. But right now he's concentrating. He'll be taking over somewhere. The pit window opens between 25 minutes and 35 minutes of this 1 hour race. We think probably there'll be a fairly early pit stop. Robin will take the larger stint in the race from Enzo, but Enzo, as you can see, speaking to John Watson, nerves are plenty, just has to keep it safe, that's the clue. But then don't forget, nerves can play quite a big role. And for the cars on the front of the grid, it's the number 33 Audi, joined just there, you can see the 63 Lamborghini pulling up alongside. So let's go down to the man who's made the whole show happen, Stefan Rattel with John Watson.
Stefan, a finale to another great season for SRO Blancpain Championships.
Yeah, it's been a very successful season, and we're very pleased with both the grid, the events, and the level of competition. The series is definitely doing very, very well.
Well, I think the level of competition has been absolutely fantastic, both in the Enduro and in the Sprint Championships, and we're down to the wire, more or less, here in Barcelona.
We're down to the wire in Nürburgring for the endurance title. We're here on down to the wire for both the sprint and the overall titles, and we had many different winners during the season, many different cars, models won. So I think it's the magic of BOP, and it's working very well.
Well, give us a brief glimpse into your crystal ball as to what the future will be next year and beyond.
I mean, I had the opportunity to speak to all the teams one by one through the last 2 events, and I see the level of enthusiasm is very, very high. I don't see the grid getting any smaller next year. We have new manufacturers building GT3 cars. We hope to welcome them. And we have this global expansion with the Blancpain GT series in Asia and our strong partnership with the Pirelli World Challenge in America. So I would say everything is looking very, very good. If I have a personal wish, I would love to see Ferrari and Porsches, because GT racing is maybe most and foremost about Ferrari and Porsche, and I really would like to see them competing for overall victory in the pro category. So that's a personal wish. I hope it will become reality.
I think it probably will. Thanks, Stefan.
Well, great to hear from Stefan Rattel talking to John Watson. When he mentioned BOP, just to let you know, that's balance of performance. We have 11 different manufacturers competing this year, and their performances, their cars are balanced. And what we've seen across the course of the season, some cars are more suited to one sort of track, some to another. We've had so many different manufacturers taking victory. We've got an Audi on the front row alongside a Lamborghini, and then starting behind them we got a Bentley and a Mercedes. That's just indicative. And Stefan mentioned 2 more manufacturers coming on board next year. It is a huge growth. GT3 racing, you have to tip your hat to Stefan Rattel. He's the man who has made it happen around the world, and it's such a growth formula. And as we have also the Blancpain GT Sports Club supporting this, you can see how many people are getting out to race these amazing cars. So here's the finale lining up. We've got just over a quarter of an hour until the cars will complete their formation lap and take the rolling start. 33 cars, alas missing the number 7 Bentley, not out to play after its accident on Saturday morning. Indicative of the type of cars out on the circuit is the Nissan GT-R, a new one of those coming in the fairly near future. A lot of big Nissan fans out around the world. And this year, of course, we have the Mercedes AMG superseding the SLS. GT3 Mercedes, and the 84 car in particular has been very successful. That is leading the overall championship. Dominic Baumann and Maxi Boot. Dominic will start this second race. What we have, the driver number 2 started the first race this morning and handed over to driver 1. Now that's reversed. So at the start of the grid, at the front of the grid, we'll have Enzo starting ahead of Nicolas Pola. That's Audi ahead of Lamborghini. Then Tristan Vautier starting 3rd in the ACA Mercedes. Maxime Soulet starting 4th. And one car we haven't seen that much of this weekend, the Lamborghini Huracan, number 100, entered by Attempto Racing, shared by Max van Splunteren and Daniel Zampieri. And John Watson has an interest in the McLaren performance, gunning for the total victory overall. Let's hear
Alvaro, a lot further back on the grid than I expected. Give us your view of what happened.
Yeah, I think that call they made was a big mistake from their part of the stewards. They gave us a drive-through for basically me avoiding contact in turn one. So the 85 Mercedes braked too late, in my opinion, because he had a bad start. And if I turn into the corner, which I was going to, no problem, after passing some cars and having a good start, if I would have turned in, we would have crashed. So because he braked too late and went too long. So I thought, obviously, by the corner of my eye and on the mirror, I'm going to go outside the track to avoid getting hit. And they gave us a drive-through for that, so not a good...
That was a difficult start, but basically, for the overall championship between endurance and sprint, you're 6 points behind the HTP Mercedes. The key is, can you and Rob, or Rob, I'm going to ask you, can you make up that differential, or where you are on the grid, is that going to be just one step too much?
No, we can do it. Definitely we can. It'll be hard work, but, you know, motor racing's, it's tough, and that's why we love it, but anything can happen. You know, we've got a 1 hour race. There's a lot going out there. You know, we saw from race one and every Blancpain race, there's incidents all over the place, so we're going to do what we can, and look, we hope for the best.
Now, overtaking is not easy at Barcelona, we've seen that, but I mean, where do you think you can do your best job?
Well, we got to take advantage of other people's mistakes. That's first and foremost. We're going to start with new tyres. I don't know if everyone will. And the first corner, let's hope there's, you know, like Alvaro said, it was carnage the first time round, and he avoided it. But you know, it was unfortunate what happened. But the same might happen again, and we might get lucky. So we're fully positive and focused, and we'll just bring it home.
So to sum up, it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're going to do our best, but an unfortunate situation to be in right now. We should be right up there. It was, you know, a bad call, but you know, it's life, and we're ready to fight.
Hey, it's just more motivation. More motivation.
Yeah, no, more motivation. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see.
So John Watson with a philosophical Rob Bell, who's the driver who'll be starting that 58 McLaren, and Alvaro Parent. I must confess I have a slight sympathy for them because they couldn't pull back across the track because the car was coming off ahead of them. Anyhow, that is the pass. They're starting down on the inside of row 8. The team there the outside of row 8 is starting from the outside of row 3, which is the number 84 Mercedes. But look for that 58 McLaren. What can it do? Will it take the outside line into turn 1 again? You're certainly a sitting duck if people come and push you wide. But Maxi Buch leading into the 84 car that's leading the overall GT series by 6 points from Rob Bell. 5 rows further ahead, so they'll be able to see it, but not for long. And what we saw in the qualifying race, the field after the initial first lap where it's 2 by 2 all the way around, and we saw in fact 5 abreast down to the first corner, it then starts to string out. Any place you can gain will reduce the deficit you have on track time. Of course, there's the driver change midway through the race between 25 minutes in and 35 minutes in. Packed grid of cars, 33 cars on the grid, starting to cloud over a little bit, which might just help the tyre life last that little bit longer. But for Maxi Buch wandering around, it's amazing all the walks you do when you're that little bit nervous. Nothing he can do at the start. It'll be his teammate Dominic Baumann kicking off in number 84 Mercedes from the outside of row 3. Fans lining the circuit in the grandstands, overlooking on the top of the pit buildings, looking down from the balcony into the pit lane and across at the 33 cars down there beneath them. Now John has been busy. We spotted Maxi Buch and John has caught him, so let's find out. He's got 2 championships to win today.
Max, then again, like many people here today, much further back than I would have expected, or you would have expected. Why?
Because we don't get the balance in the car like we want. On one lap for sure, in the race it's a bit different. We are a bit more on the pace, but as soon as you're driving closer behind somebody else, you lose some performance. But I think on the distance we are quite fine.
Now you're in a battle for 2 championships, one for the combined endurance and sprint championship with Dominic Baumann, but of course HTP's in a battle for the manufacturers or teams championship. Have you been given any sort of clues as to what they want you to win, or is it just take both if you can?
No, they want us just to take as many points as we can, and then we see the result. If we can take teams and drivers and how many championships, I don't know, but the goal is to score as many points and to do as less mistakes as we can.
Now, just going back to what happened in the first race, down to turn 1, how difficult is that?
Yeah, it is, because you're coming pretty fast into turn 1. It's quite open, but then turn 1 is pretty narrow, and you don't have space for 3 cars next to each other. So, yeah, it's difficult, and you need to adapt with the other drivers, but it shouldn't be a problem now.
Good, thank you.
So John touched upon the matter there with Maxi Books of drivers considering points. Never consider points, just go for victory. That is what a driver likes to be told. That's the least complicated, not the easiest thing, but it's the least complicated in terms of thinking when they're out there on the track. But as I said, it was 5 abreast down to the first corner. We managed to get 2 or 3 abreast through turns 1 and 2, joined together. First corners in this 16-corner circuit. And all the drivers will be that little bit wiser, but through the course of the season they have generally been very sensible indeed. They know these races are an hour long, but you never know when suddenly there's half a gap ahead of you. Do you hold back, or is this your golden opportunity? Not easy to pass on the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and the drivers all know that, so you can't expect them to hang back too much if there's a half chance for them to gain a position or 2. And don't forget, we're not just fighting for honours in the Sprint Cup, honours in the overall, but we've also got Pro-Am and AM classes to be sorted. Now, these cars are all on Pirelli tyres. John has caught up with Pirelli's Paul Hembury.
Paul Hembury, you're Pirelli's Director of Motorsport. First of all, welcome to Barcelona, but what are you doing here?
I know everyone's been asking me that why I wasn't in Malaysia this weekend, but you know, there's more to our motorsport than Formula One, and I love the GT Championship, and I wanted to see Stefan at the end of the season, so that's why I dropped in here.
Now, you probably discovered that this is a pretty competitive race series. Is that a surprise?
Oh, it's not a surprise. I mean, they manage the balance of performance so well, and I think if you watch any of the races throughout the season, they're some of the most exciting races that you see in motorsport today. And I think that's you can see that with the number of competitors and people who actually want to come and race in these championships.
I mean, I'm assuming you're going to be the official tyre provider for the following years. If that's the case, what have you got up your sleeve for us? What's new?
Not too much. We're working on maybe getting some more cars being able to do a double stint at Spa and the 24-hour race next year, but everything else is stability. You know, we're doing so many championships, GT3 championships and GT4 now around the world, that stability is the key.
Well, good to see you and enjoy this event. Thank you.
Well, thanks.
Well, great for Paul Hembury, head of Pirelli Motorsport, to be here to see 33 cars out on the grid on those Pirelli tyres. And yes, the Spa 24 Hours, the jewel in the Blancpain GT Series crown, a very, very different affair. Here, it doesn't matter how long your tyres last. One stint is absolutely fine. Well, in fact, a 1-hour race, there's no wheel changes. But let's have a look at the points. In the GT Series Sprint Cup, that's 5 of the rounds this year, and this is the 5th and final one. Enzo Ida leading his erstwhile teammate Christopher Mies, who's absent this weekend. Doesn't matter the gap between them. It's the gap back to Dominic Baumann and Maxi Buk. It's 24 points. How many are up for grabs this afternoon? 25 points. Enzo just has to finish 9th to be sure. Not 9th overall, it can just be 9th in the pro classes to make sure he takes the title. So the people are stripped away, leaving minimal people on the grid. The last few people being wafted away, leaving just a mechanic with each of the cars to make sure, should they fail to get away, the engine can be fired up for them. Outside of the front row, the Lamborghini of Nicolas Pola alongside Enzo Ida. The red Mercedes, that will be Tristan Vautier starting alongside Maxime Soulet. 84 on the right-hand side of the screen, Dominic Baumann. 99, the winners of the Spa 24 Hours. Philipp Eng will start that. Behind the veteran Bernd Schneider will be starting row 5 in that Mercedes on the right-hand side. The second Lamborghini, Lukas Stoltz, right in the battle for Silver Cup honours. Behind him on the other side of the grid, Stuart Leonard alongside the number 1 of Lawrence Van Tor. That penalty put him right back in the pack. And the 58 McLaren just going off your screen now. That is the car second in the overall championship. Rob Bell will be starting that. It's on new rubber. He's got to really, really make that pay. The sister McLaren, number 59, just behind. We keep on going past a couple more of the ACA ASP Mercedes. The number 22, that's the second of the 2 Nissan GT-Rs. A couple of newcomers from Rinaldi Racing, those green Ferraris on the left-hand side of the screen. 33 runners, and the last of all of those will be number 4 Audi. Expect that to pick its way up, because that was tipped off early on. Dries Van Tor, and that should be started by Nico Muller. Look for that one to progress. It's one thing to catch at the Circuit de Catalunya, it's quite another to pass. That is why for Enzo Ida, who's gunning not for outright honours, but for the Sprint Cup glory. He knows if he can make a good enough start, be first, second or third down to the first corner, keep his nose in front, not be passed by many more cars, he will have done his job, and the rest will be up to Robin Frieds. Anyhow, the formation lap, we're into the final 1 minute countdown to that, and they're being flagged away. Off goes Enzo Ida. He's done the first part. He hasn't stalled at the start of the formation lap, nor has Dominic Baumann. He was slow away in that 84 Mercedes. You have to have 5 more cars going behind, and now the 58 McLaren with Rob Bell starts from row number 8. They could, should, whatever, have been starting from the front 4 rows, so it's a big ask for Rob Bell and his teammate Alvaro Parent to get that McLaren up towards the very front end of the order. That's what they've got to do. They've got an hour in which to do it. So drivers all getting the heat into their tyres. Enzo Ida starting ahead of the Lamborghini of Nicolas Pola, Tristan Vautier in the red ACA ASP Mercedes, and then alongside or just behind him in the running order there, Maxime Soulet in the number 8 Bentley. Look at the variety of manufacturers at the front, and you'll understand why Stefan Rattel believes he's got the balance of performance so very right, and so many people want to come and play. Here, let's take a look at the starting grid. Enzo Ida will be starting and then hand over to Robin Frieds in the 33 Audi. Likewise, Nicolas Pola will hand over his Lamborghini to Bortolotti. Tristan Vautier in the 88 Mercedes, Maxime Soulet in the 8 Bentley. Will Stevens, the 28 Audi, from 5th on the grid, and Dominic Baumann, the championship leader, in the 84 Mercedes. Silver Cup winners in the first race, Nicola Moller Madsen will be starting and handing over to Alessio Picariello. The better of the Nissans in 9th on the grid. Beretta and Stoltz in the second Lamborghini. Look out for them. They should expect a good run. But also Vantor and Vervich in that number 1 Audi starting 13th. Look out. They did a lot of the overtaking. But the car that does need to do the overtaking in particular is Bell and Parent. Bell first and then Parent afterwards in the 58 McLaren, starting down in the middle of the grid on row 8. We have... in the end, we had 33 cars, so we go to row 17. We're still working our way down the order, and quite a few of those were cars who had a few little problems. But don't forget, we also have the Pro-Am Cup runners, such as Salikov and Seidler. Look out for Seidler in the second stint in that Ferrari. And we have the AM class as well. So a lot of titles to be sorted out here in this next hour of racing. Will we have Enzo Ida taking the Sprint Cup? Alone he will be, because Christopher Mies, who's competed with him all season until now, is absent this weekend. But what a stand-in we have in the form of Robin Frieds, who was so strong to set up that victory in the opening race. So battles within the overall battles, fights to every single corner around the circuit. You can be resting assured of that. Who will keep their tyres sweet through this 1 hour race? Who will have the speed at the end? But really here at the circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya, it is speed down to the first corner and the ability to get the car reduced from speed and through that corner without going off, without being clipped up the back, tipped off the circuit. We've had drama aplenty in the qualifying race. Robin Frieds looking at the screens. René Rast, seldom a smile away from his face in behind. They'll be taking second stints in their Audis. But now, through turn 12 of this 16-corner circuit, 4.655 kilometres, very difficult to pass. It's gold dust as I welcome John Watson up into the commentary box. Great interviews down there on the grid. How's the feeling?
Well, for me it's fine, but I tell you, it's muggy. It's warm and muggy. Quite different to what we had earlier in the day when temperatures were lower, fresher air. Maxi Book, he'll be looking to see what happens, but it will change what happens during this 1 hour.
So here we have, coming down to turn 14 at slow speed behind the Audi. Of course, now the Audi will just lead them through, and then that will peel off into the pit lane just after it goes through turn 15 now, the last of that fiddly left-right chicane. And then 2 by 2, the 33 car field will come out of turn 16, the final corner. The drivers will have to wait, look to the starting gantry, the lights will be red, and the nanosecond that they turn to green, Enzo Ida will be trying to floor the throttle of the number 33 Audi. Will he be down to the first corner first, or will it be the 63 Lamborghini waiting for red to turn to green? It's still red, or will it be someone from the row behind? Will it be the Bentley of Maxime Soulet? Brilliant start also from Vautier, third up to second, but for Enzo Ida, that's 2 brilliant starts for the 33 Audi. He's doing everything he can to cover the inside line. And John Watson, how do you read this?
Well, he's been told what to do, stay tight to the right-hand side all the way down, but Tristan Vautier trying to go the long way around, but he'll be on the inside, so that position is lost by Enzo Ida, but he gave it up because it was the right thing to do. He had contact coming through with the 28 car.
That's Will Stevens, got punted sideways, brilliant correction, opposite lock slide, and the BMW has gone around the outside, and far wide goes, oh, dearie me.
Yeah, one of the BMWs, so it's absolutely just behind coming out of turn 3, it is going nuts. And this is the start. We had a similar start. All the action took place in turn 1, but still all the way around this opening lap, because everybody is so close together, there's little racing room available, and you just have to make your own space.
And make they do. Certainly see some sorting out through turn 5. Now it's going more line astern, and unfortunately for Nicolas Pola, outside of the front row of the grid, he's lost about 5 or 6 places. Brilliant low shot. This is filmed from the front of one of the Nissans, and that looks like it's behind the... Can't see which of the Audis it is. It's Takaboshi's Nissan. We know that's the better place, the 2, car number 23. That's through... That's up to turn 9 down. A good lead, about 3 car lengths. And Will Stevens fancies go out the inside of 1, maybe 2, but he's clumped the side. It was never on from that far back from Will Stevens. He was the one put sideways early on. Poor Takaboshi has been off the circuit further back. That'll be an interesting lap chart. Many place changes, but there you felt that was coming from way too far back into turn 10.
There was clearly an avoidable incident, but it wasn't avoided. Consequently, the Lamborghini gets spun round, and Will Stevens will get a penalty, I'm sure. Right
behind the Lamborghini. After that problem early on is Maxi Boot, but I spotted Rob Bell has already gained quite a few positions right in the middle of the battle, the cluster there, the little McLaren, number 58. He's, well, I think by the end of the opening lap, he started 16th. Does he have front corner damage, John? I think he'll be up into about 10th, 11th position. Let's see. Sorry, 14th. I gave him too much credit, but he certainly picked off 3 places. But a tiny lead. Tristan Vautier, 2.1 seconds.
But it's this car here, the Mercedes with the red flash, that's the car they're really focusing upon.
He lost 2 places down to the Max. Dominic Baumann started 6th, down to 8th position. That's helping Rob Bell. He gained, they lost. So battles within battles. Enzo Ida, he decided discretion was the better part of valor. Let Tristan Vautier in. He's not fighting him.
He's not fighting him at all, and that's the key to the race for the 33 Audi. They have just got to score any points they need, but stay away from contact, stay away from anything that would put you into jeopardy, because otherwise what is a comfortable lead in the championship could just evaporate in the gravel trap.
Well, it's getting very into Nissan battling between the 3 and 2 Audis. The horn goes in the pits, but there's only some course cars coming in, but very tight, side by side, middle of the grid there, John, just behind the McLaren.
Yeah, now they're prepared to concede, so they sorted out finally coming into turns 7 and 8, then up the hill into this very quick right-hander turn 9, and you can see that Vautier has gone, in effect. Zuid now is having to deal with Andy Soucek, Maxime Soule, I should say, in the Bentley, who probably will find a way around the young Belgian driver, but the McLaren again looking to get past the Nissan. We know that the Nissan has got good straight-line performance. This may not be its best circuit, but it uses the strengths that it has to best effect, and that's, for Rob Bell to try and get around the Nissan. He's going to look down the inside, but there's no space into turn 13 to do that.
But if you want to see someone doing some overtaking, look to the little black Audi, just moved ahead of the Lamborghini, yet another place change, 2 or 3 places on that lap. Nicky Katzberg was relegated and now past the Lamborghini as well, so Lawrence Van Tor absolutely flying in the number 1 Audi. Started today in 18th place. Azavaz, here's the move. Is Maxime Soule going to get it done for 2nd place? Enzo Ida doesn't shut the door, but is still far enough in front to hold down 2nd place.
Yeah, Enzo was on the left-hand side of the track. He was able to break that a little bit later as the 59 McLaren, it dives down the inside. 58, I beg your pardon. Where did that get so far back?
I don't know. He seemed to have more of an advantage over the number 2 Audi up ahead, but certainly a brilliant lap from Lawrence Van Tor, up to 10th place for him.
So this battle for 2nd place, Enzo giving plenty of space for the Bentley, leaving the gap. The Bentley, the much larger car, so you don't want to have... And Enzo backs out of it wisely. Lets Maxime Soule take that 2nd place, so he has now got another, almost 2 seconds of an advantage over what will be now the fourth place BMW, Philippe Eng. He doesn't want to fall back too much into this group of cars that are chasing, of which the 84 Mercedes Dominic Baumann is one of those cars, and that's a car in which there's a battle for the team's title, and that's the one that HTP are desperate to try and get their hands on.
Story's been in the overall story. Car 84, our championship leader, no further investigation for the start. We'll get back to you on that one, but incident between car 63, which was the Polar Lamborghini, and car number 28, which was the Will Stevens Audi, under investigation, and fairly so.
And look at this battle coming down the hill with the Nissan trying to look up the inside. The 86 Mercedes going to swoop around the outside bench now. They're getting slightly pushed as the Nissan just, it's there. It ain't going to move out of the way.
Well, interestingly, we talked about how the car that has the greatest ease to set a fastest lap will be the one at the start, not one in traffic, but Lawrence Van Tor in 10th is the fastest car on the track at the moment. Another lap just being started by Tristan Vautier, 3.7 seconds clear. He's edging away little by little, but that battle, that's over the Bentley, not over the 33 Audi.
Now there's the third place Audi that's under a threat from the BMW. It's only 3/4 of a second away. As they go into turn one, you can see how much that gap has closed down. So,
well, Rob Bell again struggling down the start-finish straight in the 58 McLaren. He wants to be picking cars off, but he's sitting down. He's in 14th place. And the car he's chasing is 6 places ahead of him, which is Dominic Baumann in the 84 Mercedes. But every time he gets the start-finish straight, Rob seems to just lose ground to those against him. We commented on how the Nissans are very, very quick down that straightaway, and Takaboshi is the next car in front of him. Nothing he can do about him at the moment.
So out of turn 4, down the hill into turn 5. And I mean, we just got this line, this procession there. The Bentley, look how quickly he's pulled away from now the third place Audi of Enzoid, and then this line of what, 6 or more cars all beginning to try and stack up. But let's look at the start and see a great start from the 33 Audi, but more so from the Mercedes. Tristan Vautier got the run. He put himself into the outside of the circuit to be able to swoop around the outside. Difficult maneuver to execute, but he got it done.
Now, what we saw, just being able to watch it for a second time, the 84 Mercedes dropped back at the start. He lost 2 positions. We knew he lost them on the opening lap. I hadn't noticed he lost it on the run to the first corner. Wonderful low shot from one of the Nissans. Bits of bodywork flying off, and then, well, that really was threading the needle. That was where we saw Will Stevens being given a sideways moment, getting on the grass, but so super close. The 23 Nissan right in the move. Sorry, that was where 84, that was the green. I thought it was on the Mercedes. It was 85 hitting 86, but all a bit of a sort out. So let's have a look. We got Audi's off on the right of the circuit, coming back on, and in avoidance, the 86 car is on the outside, doesn't get hit by 84.
Oh, he does. Absolutely. Not only hit, he got turned round.
No love in that garage.
The 23 was taking its natural line into turn 3 and closing the door, and the 86 Mercedes became that meat in the sandwich, and there was nowhere for it to go, and the contact occurred.
Okay, another message on the timing screen. We mentioned that car 28 might be in trouble for the contact with the 63 Lamborghini. Team manager of car 28 to race control immediately. They're not featuring in the overall championship at the top end, but it's now super close. Can Enzo Ida hold off a car that's been a sleeper all weekend? The BMW is so strong it took the victory over 24 hours at Spa-Francorchamps. Hasn't found its form in a way that Mercedes haven't particularly here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. But right now, all over the back of Enzo Ida, but on the tail, but not yet passing. And the 84 Mercedes at the middle of that train, plenty more tucked in behind, but he's done his, he's stabilised his race. His race isn't for overall victory, it's to stay ahead of Rob Bell.
Well, Lawrence Van Tor has actually been overtaken just a moment into turn 5, and I was watching and thinking, well, what's going on? Because Lawrence Van Tor was the man who was on the move. Suddenly he found himself being wrong-footed into turn 5, lost that position. Now he's going to have to find a way back again, and that's not going to make a very happy Lawrence Van Tor. I see a dive down the inside, and
that's Will Stevens. Yeah. He's having an incredibly feisty race and tucked in behind.
That's the same corner that he made that move on the Lamborghini on the opening lap, and it didn't work then, and it didn't work this time either on the 99 BMW.
Well, the driver in behind is Nikolai Moller-Madsen, going supremely well. He had a slow start to this meeting for Phoenix Racing, but he'll be handing over to Alessio Picariello, and he's leading the Silver Cup by a large margin of 5 positions over Michele Beretta in the second of the 2 Lamborghinis. Wonderful onboard shots through, sweeping through turn 16, the final corner. This is Dominic Baumann. He'd like to be at the front. He's down in 8th position, gaining not at all on Nicolas Pola in the Lamborghini. Don't forget though, Pola started on the front row. Baumann made a bad start. He was on the 3rd row. They've lost a lot of position there.
And in the meantime, Lawrence Van Tor, who lost that position midway around that last lap to Edward Sandstrom in the 25 Audi, he's regained that somewhere. I don't know why we didn't see it. But I mean, this is an indication all through the field. It's a real knuckle ride. I mean, there's no margin for error, and everybody who's slightly out of line, that's going to be punched on. There we see leader Tristan Vautier, 2.8 seconds, in fact, advantage over the Bentley, which is the quickest car on the circuit, has the quickest race lap to date. So Soule's got a 2.8 second disadvantage to try and run down. The Bentley of the 2 cars, well, we have to say is the marginally quicker, but it's only about 2 or 3 tenths per second per lap.
Yeah, well, let's see how that unfolds. That was all about going around the outside at the start. We saw in Hungary that Tristan Vautier doesn't mind going around the outside. In Hungary, it didn't work. He went from first down to fourth in the space of a couple of corners, but here he's pulling away. And now, instead of progressing, Rob Bell in the 58 McLaren is being absolutely monstered and pushing really hard from behind is the 85 Mercedes. So for Rob, he's being philosophical, but he wants to be going forward, but the speed just doesn't seem to be there. He's got to rely perhaps on a mishap for the 84 Mercedes. That's being pushed so hard by who? Lawrence Vantor in that #1 Audi. Push not for long because he's going out the inside. Not quite touching, but you're as close as you possibly can be. And that out of turn 3 down to turn 4, really, really unsettling.
I mean, this is a feisty Lawrence Vantor. Great to see him. I mean, a couple of races ago, I wondered whether he had sort of lost some of his mojo, but clearly not. And he's driven absolutely to the level of what we expect normally from the Belgian driver. But of course, that's that Mercedes with the red stripe. Ultimately, from the team perspective, who will win the combined championships? First time that has been included into the Blancpain GT Sprint and Endurance Championship.
Yeah, it's a great initiative. In previous years, they've been run as separate series. So instead of having 2 titles for the top drivers to go for, it's 3. There's the overall honours, the Sprint Cup honours, and the only one we know so far the destination of is Garage 59 with Rob Bell, Shane van Gisbergen and Comin Ledegard. They clinched that, the Endurance Cup at the Nürburgring 2 weeks ago. Team manager, car 74. Black and white flag, though, to number 28. That's Will Stevens' Audi for driving standards. Team manager, car 74 to race control immediately. So
that's quite a lenient. I mean, that was a big knock on the Lamborghini coming down into turn 9 on the opening lap. But anyway, it's a black and white driving standards flag. We'll be able to breathe another day. But this battle now going on between 8th and 9th place. But also Edward Sandstrom, who did get ahead of the one Audi momentarily when, for some reason, there was a gap and he took it. But now the Mercedes has got the few WRT all over the mirrors in that car. He's flashing the Lamborghini. I want through, trying to get through Nicola Polo. Coming down the inside is a long way to go down. He's got alongside, but can he make it stick? No, he can't.
And all along, that allows those behind to close in. So that run from Enzo Ida, the number 33 Audi in 3rd place, then Philippe Eng in the 99 BMW right on his tail. They go through turn 12, up towards 13, down they go, and then just in 5th place behind Will Stevens. He's having the black and white. He's had the black and white driver warning standards flag. And then Nikolai Moller-Madsen driving the race of his life, I would suggest, right at the front end. He may have new tyres. He may have just kept out of trouble at the start of the race, but for the Dane, really, really gaining enormous experience. And behind him, the Lamborghini, Nicolas Pola, should be really fighting over 2nd or 3rd. Bad start, hit from behind, knocked down to 7th. Dominic Baumann, championship leader in the overall battle. In the middle of your shot there, the gunmetal-y grey Mercedes with the big red stripe over the top. That's 8th at the moment. Still in position to win the overall, John, there.
Yes, and like everybody, they've all got a reason to complain about balance of performance. And for Mercedes, they say we haven't got the straight line performance that we would like to have had here. It's all got to do with the BOP, but regardless of that, you have to find a way to make your car work within that. As we see, again, Will Stevens being tackled by the 5 Audi, and that's a car being driven, I mean, again, with a lot of aggression, but not making any mistakes.
Yeah, it has a little bit of rear bodywork damage, I think, on the 5. That's not surprising when we try to fit so many cars through the opening corner. And certainly Lawrence Vantor cutting in at turn 5, cutting so tight to the inside, kicking up the dust. He's got to see what he can do to upset Dominic Baumann. Of course, this could be pivotal. It could be a move that he makes to try and go past the 84 that could come unstuck and take 84 off the circuit. Wouldn't wish it for anyone, but just to say that Lawrence Vantor has his tail up the moment. This is him on a real hunt. So he's immediately behind the car we're riding with now. That's the 84 Mercedes. Down the long infield straight, down to turn 10, not close enough to make a dive up the inside of the Lamborghini, but you can see he's got Lawrence Vantor right behind, and number 25 as well, Edward Sandstrom, the Swede, driving a great race in the Audi at the back of that group.
And this is where Vantor is very good. He's able to hold the Audi in much closer, most tighter, all the way around the curbing, where the Mercedes is going out and coming back in again. On one occasion, 3 or 4 laps ago, we got sort of almost alongside, but the Mercedes being slightly further ahead was able to keep control.
But one thing that we're really seeing is Enzo Ida got demoted by Maxime Soulet back into 3rd place, and those behind, there's Tristan Vautier leading over the ridge start-finish straight. Now comes the 2nd place Bentley, will be about, well, it just tells me 3.8 seconds behind. Then Enzo Ida, Philippe Eng got onto his tail and is now falling back as he's being pushed from behind from Will Stevens. So this is absolutely great news for Enzo Ida. Did you hear the little one? We have the Nida for Ida, or Ida has speeder or something earlier before the race.
But I think now that, you know, the mad bash, the mad rush of the opening 3-4 laps has sort of
calmed down around Ede. He now is finding his own natural pace, and that's why he's beginning to pull away small amounts every lap. But look, up the inside, tries to get Max Dominic Baumann, tries to get the Mercedes. He can maybe make it stick this time again. Lamborghini just sweeps across the bar of the Mercedes, and that closes the door.
I said earlier, it looks as though the McLaren just doesn't have the speed down the straight, and I'm afraid down into turn one, Rob Bell has just been jumped by Frank Stipper, so down to 16th place for Rob Bell, not looking good at this point in the race. And don't forget, he said we're putting the new tyres on for the first stint, John.
Well, the new tyres will help on a lap, but if you're buried in the midst of a group of cars like this, you aren't going to get the best out of them. And if you can't get onto the straight quickly and you haven't got good straight line speed, then you're going to be a sitting duck.
And there is Rob Bell. There's Frank Stipper ahead of him. That's what he didn't want to see. The 75 Audi has moved ahead. That's one of the two cars from the ISR stable. Car number 28, drive-through penalty for causing a collision. That's Will Stevens in 5th place. That'll drop him way out of the reckoning. So up to 5th place will go Nikolai Moller-Madsen. Everyone else moves up a position. Good news for those chasing down Enzo Ida, but for the Sprint Cup to go anywhere other than Enzo Ida, it has to be race victory and 25 points for the 84 Mercedes crew. Where are they? They're 8th. They'll rise to 7th. They've got to do far better if they want to
side
get the
by
Sprint
side,
Cup.
the Mercedes and the Audi coming through. So Laurens Vanthoor trying to get up alongside the 84 Mercedes, puts himself into no man's land. Big force wide, Edward Sundstrom gets through as well. And that was an audacious move by Vanthoor to try and make that stick coming through turns 14 and 15. Didn't get it, and he lost a position once again to the 25 Audi.
It's not the last we'll see from efforts from Laurens Vanthoor, but Edward Sandstrom wasn't looking a gift horse in the mouth as the 84 Mercedes and the one Audi went sideways ahead of him, went out to the outside, up the inside he went, place gain, but Laurens Vanthoor still has some other bullets in his gun, but the clock is ticking through. Still nearly 43 minutes this race remaining. Pit stop window comes in 7 minutes time.
Yeah, and of course that distraction for the 84 Mercedes, where we just hit going into turn 4, was enough, of course, to allow the Lamborghini 63 to stretch fractionally. So that little squabble looked great, wonderful to watch, but it didn't help the 84 Mercedes in its pursuit to try and get ahead of the 63 Lamborghini.
So the drivers not yet in their cars know their final stint in the 2016 Blancpain GT Series is coming up and coming up soon. This little battle is over 4th place. The 99 BMW, Philipp Eng, the car behind the Audi, number 28. Will Stevens has that drive-through penalty to serve for causing a collision with the 63 Lamborghini. So everybody up behind will move up a position. How soon will the number 28 Audi come in? This drive-through penalty is earlier than we had for the McLaren in the qualifying race this morning, and here is...
I mean, look, 2-1 doesn't go, but he's not going to give up, because he still thinks there's an opportunity if I can get around the outside, side by side in turn 16 with the 84 Mercedes. But there's Edward Sandstrom. He sees the opportunity, slides the 25 car up the inside, says, thank you very much, I'll take that any day of the week.
Did you see there was a little tap on the tail? You hope that it doesn't lead to any punctures. René Rast talking with Thierry Tassin and all the others down in the pit garage WRT, because it's his car that's coming in for the drive-through penalty.
Yeah, I mean, he's not happy about it, because whatever his version of events are, you don't want to see your car having to make a drive-through, but because of the penalties, that's what's happened.
And it's in the pits serving the drive-through right now. There is the 28 green-winged entry for WRT, and that will go outside the top 20 by the time it's completed the drive-through. So at least for Rob Bell, he's gained a position, but there's still the gap between him and the crew he's trying to chase down, the 84 Mercedes, is still a lot of places. It's now 9 positions. That is a lot around the circuit here to gain back. There is the 58 McLaren.
I mean, both McLarens, the 59 car down on 22nd pace, they've really not been able to do anything constructive, positive here. The best opportunity would have been, obviously, had they not receiving that penalty in the qualifying race. Had they been further up the grid, which they would have liked to have been, they could have maybe been brought forward, swept forward. That's what, look at Maxime Soulet, I mean, driving the wheels off the Bentley through turn 9. Still pretty much, well, not on the last lap, they're sort of give and take 3.9 seconds between first and second. And Vautier is enjoying that bit of free air that we saw the 33 Audi do earlier in the morning, when Robin Freins in particular, and then he took over. Ends up out of 84 Barman back close to the tail of the 63 Lamborghini, Nicolas Pola. But there's no space, there's no way that he can get up alongside down the hill into turn 9. Trying to squeeze up the inside coming through 10 and 11, and then up into 13 we come now. So the dive down the hill into these very tight right, left, and
Well, it wasn't so long ago at this very point on the circuit that number 1 Audi tried to go inside 84, and the bottom of our timing screen says contact between 1 and 84 now under investigation. I can't think we could be blaming number 84.
I mean, as a racing driver, or what they might call a leg end, I would have said that was a racing incident, no gain, no loss. In fact, the person that lost was actually the guy that was trying to make the move, and that was Van Voort. So I don't see why there should be any investigation. I would expect that one to say no further action taken.
Yeah, no, I would too, side by side, and you can see that Van Voort is now back ahead of Sandstrom and back onto the tail of Dominic Baumann. Just a moment, it seems like seconds ago, John, you were saying that gives a bit of a breathing space for the number 63 Lamborghini. There is no breathing space because right under his rear wing is that 84 Mercedes, and the Lamborghini ran a little bit wide. There are different lines around the corner, turn 4.
That's the line that Nicolas Polo has been taking in turn 4 most of the time, and that's why he opens up an opportunity. The invitation is there for the 84 Mercedes to try and slip up the inside, but it's never can get sufficiently far alongside to be able to claim the right to come out of turn 4 in the lead. 85, look at that, just trying to do something on the 98 BMW through the field, battling for a 10th, 11th, 12th.
Yeah, Nicky Katzberg and Clement Schmidt and Clements in the Mercedes really fancies a chance of deposing the BMW, but let's see if that can happen. That's the background of the shot. They're running behind the 19 Michele Beretta-driven Lamborghini. But here's the battle for third place. It's not so much of a battle because Enzo Ida seems to have it under control over Philippe Eng. Now, if they go in the heat of the battle, let's see. If they finish as they are, Enzo Ida will win comfortably in the GT Series Sprint Cup. He's 20. He needs to be 25 points clear, and he's more than that because, of course, he's ahead of Baumann on the road. Mies not in the mix. He's not here. So it will be Sprint Cup victory for Ida. He's going to hand over the car, really coming up pretty soon, I would suggest, to his teammate Robin Freins, but he didn't panic. He let Tristan Vautier get in the lead. He didn't fight too hard to keep Soule back, but he's kept everyone else behind him, and that is the dream position for the 33 Audi.
And I just wonder at what point will WRT want to bring that number 33 Audi in, because at the minute he's not really under pressure, and it would be then where would Robin Freins rejoin? Would he rejoin in the middle of a midfield battle that is yet to filter through that pit stop sequence, and then potentially get itself out of position? Big call for the team right now. This is going to be the call that will make it an easy victory in this in the Euro Championship. If you go back to the race leader, 88, some 4.7 seconds pulling away now from the Bentley. It's done that over the last 3 or so laps.
But the graphic on the screen shows the overall victory, the overall championship honours. It's now a 12-point advantage. It was 6 at the start of the race for Baumann and Buch in the 84 Mercedes over Rob Bell. But Rob Bell languishing down in 15th place. He's a fair old distance. He's 26 seconds down on the race leader, but this could be a sort-out coming up. This is the battle for 6th place. Nicolas Pola in the Lamborghini. Dominic Baumann pushing so hard, and in turn being almost shunted down the circuit by the number 1 Audi.
I almost thought he was going to have a look down the inside of the slab. He's certainly putting his car in the middle of the racetrack to prevent Lawrence Van Voort from thinking about doing that. And again, Van Voort gets right under the rear wing of the Mercedes through 10, through 11, then this long right. This is where the Audi did hold an advantage over these two cars. The Mercedes staying more on the inside, just trying to give himself that little bit of space to prevent the Audi stepping up. And here where we go back to where we saw that action, 4 laps ago. So Van Voort has realised that as much as I might feel I'm quicker than the Mercedes or the Lamborghini, unless you can find a bit of racetrack where you can make a clean pass, runs way wide, gets the wheel under the gravel, well that'll catch your attention.
Well, it certainly filled the face of the car behind Edward Sandstrom, going through his Edward Sandstorm, I would suggest, as it was kicked up in his face. So all the momentum, that was as close as Lawrence Van Voort had been to the tail of the 84, coming through the final corner. Looks like it's going to be right under the rear wing where he wanted to be, but kicking the tail out, that certainly would have sent his, well actually no, probably his heartbeat will stay absolutely level, but yours or mine, John, would go through the roof, hanging the tail out, coming through the final corner. A very quick part of the circuit. Nicolas Pola still holds on, the Lamborghini 63 in 6th place. Dominic Baumann, he's not taking risks in that 84 Mercedes, can't afford to as yet, no point in doing so. Maxi Buch though, he wants to get out there, so it looks like the 84 stuck in traffic. They're going to try and free it from the shackles here by making an early pit stop, but then again we will see, because of course it could be immediately responded to by the number 1 Audi WRT crew, and we've seen how good they are in the pits, John.
So there we see Robin Freins with his seat insert. So when will the 33 car come in as the 84 looks to go past the Lamborghini up into turn 9, but that's an impossible pass to think about, so you shouldn't really be putting yourself in that situation. You wait to come out of turn 9 and hope that you can do sufficient, but again, just the Lamborghini has got enough straight line speed to prevent anything that Donald McFarlane in the Mercedes, or for that matter Lawrence Van Voor, the quicker than Vautier.
Right, our first
race
pit caller
in.
Race leader going to hand over to Felix Rosenqvist. He had that comfortable margin of just under 5 seconds.
Second place Bentley in.
The track
and a bit of carbon fibre was flicked up. Now that's, I think, debris from that contact that may have, what did occur earlier between what's happened to 33 stays out. I think that's a good decision. BMW in 4th place comes in as well, as does the 5th place Audi. So the lead has gone to Enzo Ede. He's got clear air. He might just stay out for as long as they think it's necessary.
And the next grouping coming in nose to tail, 63, 84 and 1. Those three we've seen been fighting so hard. You can see them in the background, all fingers and thumbs. We hope not for the crews. So I think that was a really good move there from Enzo Ede to stay out for another lap. This lot should be clear.
But the danger of staying out is that he's on old tyres. Everybody else is on new tyres. And their lap times, and watch this release from the Bentley. Whoa! Oh dear me! One car coming in, one car going out, and an engineer in the middle of the pit lane. So watch Maximilian Buch as the 88 Mercedes makes its way down the pit lane.
That should be the first one back out.
HTP is at the end of the pit lane, whereas the ACA ASP car services are a little bit more in the middle. But this pit stop is going to be an absolute must for HTP. They do not want to let the opportunity slip. So the driver change is done, the wheel changes on the right side are done. Max Buch gets it fired up, he's at the end of the pit lane so he can floor the throttle without having any concern about having to use the speed limit button.
Okay, what we think the number one Audi looks as though that's got ahead of not just the 84 Mercedes but also the 63 Lamborghini. So WRT, we said they're good in the pits. They've gone and proved it all over again. But that was hugely exciting. How much longer will 33 stay out in the lead of the race? Will Enzo Ede bring it in this time around? Much emptier pit lane though.
I think it'll come in now because they keep him out for one lap, clear air, but it's a tyre wear, tyre degradation. It'll have a bearing on lap times. Each last lap was a 150.6, good lap, but you put on a fresh set of tyres with the fuel levels that it's now at. Robin Freehan's behind the wheel, and you've got to think that this is a car, and it is coming in
out of the final chicane, looking out to avoid any of the debris that's up there. Robin Freehan's looking out the pit lane. Enzo Ede, he will be hot and very emotional after that run. And number 25, great run from Edward Sandstrom coming in as well. The key though is where the 33 will be when it goes back out, but we expect 88 to resume the lead of the race. He's certainly got out ahead.
Well, Bruce, I tell you what's going to be interesting is, will the 33 go out ahead of the number 1 or ahead of whatever else? But that pit stop for the number 1 Audi was stunning, made up 2 places during the pit stop. Same crew will be doing the pit stop here for the 33 car, so getting the driver's belts all attached. So quick change for the WRT team. There is the leading car, Felix Rosenqvist behind the wheel now. Can they release the car? Had to delay just because of other cars coming past. So the 88 will be on the pit straight. There it is. So it is coming past with Felix Rosenqvist in the lead. Second place
is the Bentley. That's coming down. Andy Soucek just behind the Rinaldi Racing Ferrari. But it looks as though 33 is certainly out before the number 1 Audi comes over the hill. How close is it going to be? Because Robin Freehan's getting up to speed. The job is done. They should get down into turn 1 ahead of that grouping of cars. That's the Black Pearl Racing Ferrari. That's not in the mix, but the 2 behind very much are, 5 and 1. So Robin Freehan's Enzo, I think, can relax a little bit now. That was, again, another tiny pit stop from WRT. But one, if that hadn't had the problem with the engine change that didn't happen, that left, and the mucking up in qualifying, that left them starting 18.
He goes way wide coming out of turn 3. And look, number 1 trying to get down the inside of the Black Pearl Racing Ferrari. Does it. The Ferrari steps sideways. But still, that number 5 Audi has been strong all afternoon.
And don't forget, Alessio Picciariello is the driver at the wheel at the moment. He set the fastest lap of the whole weekend. Not doing it that way there. John, that was a chance to throw it away. Frederick Verbisch doesn't need a second invitation, doesn't need to have more than 2 wheels on the circuit, off the circuit and up in front. So,
talking about tension in the pits, tension in the commentary booth, tension in the cockpit. I mean, that was the best bit of grass cutting I've seen all weekend. The splitter in the front of that number 1 Audi. You can see the grass. Lawrence Van Voor's face, look at that. He had a few scary moments, and look at the Lamborghini swinging one side and the other to try and get back. So Bertolotti
Well, Bortolotti will fancy his chances. He's been so strong this season. Lawrence Van Tor, he thought he had enough action on the circuit, and Frederick Vervish thought, I'm half a lap in, I can do far better than that. And that was not even looking for half a chance, that was quarter of a chance, grabbed very, very positively indeed. So, lest you don't know, the race is actually being led by the 86 Mercedes from the 85, but they have yet to pit. In fact, the 85 has just come in.
Yeah, but
fastest lap of the race.
Robin Friends,
not that sector. Robin Friends on his first flyer. So he came out into what we thought effectively was third place and really on the move. There's the 85 Mercedes making its pit stop, getting towards the end of the pit stop window. And of the leading runners, yes, Bernd Schneider will come in. He wasn't one of the leading runners. But super, super close. Don't waste time in the pits. Off they go. But it's the 88 Mercedes effectively still leading this race with Felix Rosenqvist at the wheel.
Fastest lap, or fastest sector times now from Rosenqvist. Fastest sector 2 and 3 to the Audi of Robin Friends. So the new tire effect is taking massive lumps out of times out of those cars that they're running down. But of course the tire effect will disappear after 3 or so laps, and then things will go back into that more level playing field of when the tire settles into its normal life and performance spectrum.
So leading the race, not on the track, but in effect, because it's made its pit stop first, and it's so tight again, 5 and 63. At the moment, they're listed on our timing screens as 12th and 13th, but fear not, I think they're 5th and 6th at the moment. But Alessio Picariello holding that blue-white Audi from Phoenix Racing in front of Mirko Bortolotti, the GRT Grasser Racing Team Lamborghini, both clouting the curbs around the twistier parts of the circuit, seeing where a move can be made. It's so difficult.
Yeah, watch Bortolotti, he's going to have a little look coming down into turn 9 as the 33, yes, Robin Friends, again, fastest first sector, fastest second sector. So he has just got to just continue the work that he's doing. All the families are here, with all the relevant teams that are in this battle for the championship.
John, I didn't gather before the race, did your hint to Enzo Ida lead to a bottle of wine coming your way?
No. Bortolotti did what I thought he might do, is get past down into turn 9, and the 5 Audi had to concede, and that was work in preparation. You could see coming up the hill, he was just getting closer. He knew where his strengths lay. We didn't see the pass, we might get that on replay, but clearly Bortolotti used that. The Mercedes now is going to struggle, because we know that it hasn't got, for some reason here in Barcelona, the straight line performance it may have in other racetracks. The usual factor probably will be the balance of performance, but let's look and see. This is almost a replay of what we saw when Baumann was behind the wheel, as Audi and BMW are battling each other, particularly the two Audis coming out of the final 2 turns.
That's outside the top 10, but what I want to see, Andy Soucek is running in third place overall as that BMW is being hunted down, but Robin Friends 5.7 seconds down, taking great chunks more than a second a lap out of him, and that's almost trying to go into the pit lane there. BMW holds the inside line, that's Steph Dusseldorp, and behind number 3, that's the Brazilian group.
Stopped on the outside of turn 1. And what it's doing there, don't know, but it was stopped just off the racetrack on the exit of turn 1.
Pit entry, car number 8, the car running in second place, Andy Soucek, under investigation. How it came into the pits, that might have another twist in the tail. Bodywork dragging off the back of the number 2 Audi there, so a little bit of contact earlier in the race. Michael Meadows.
There's the Ferrari that we saw down at turn 1, so that's Steve Parrow, and he gets that car rolling again in a precarious position, because cars are coming down the main straight 150, 160 miles an hour.
Bernd Schneider in from the lead of the race, should be handing over to Jules Simkowiak, and that was a long stint. And likewise, Morgan Moulin-Trafort, leading in the Pro-Am class, comes in from second place. Now, this is the second visit to the pits for the 28 Audi. Rennie Rast will be able to take it over this time. It's had that drive-through penalty. And yes, confirmation it was indeed. The Black Pearl Racing Ferrari, well spotted, John, spun and rejoined with the help, we think, of a few marshals.
I think the marshals gave it a bit of an aid, and just sitting and say in a difficult position for the driver in the car, more so for those corner workers and the marshals who went to aid it. So in is the 86 car, out gets Bernd Schneider, in gets Jules Simkowiak, who was one of those 2 drivers that received a drive-through penalty earlier this morning for the opening lap incident down at turn 1. So they paid the penalty of having to start much further back than they might have thought they would have done just on the pace. And their car throughout the weekend has probably been the quickest of all the Mercedes GT3 AMGs rolling, and Rennie Rast likewise. So the Mercedes comes out, the Audi will follow it. It's 85 and 99, that's a little bit further down the field.
That's Jasmine
14th and 15th places.
Alex Sims, so the BMW, we saw it moving up to the front of the 99 car, but it's outside the top 10 again. A good stint from Eng, and now 3 and 2, they're just getting all over the place, and the 100 Lamborghini is saying thank you very much indeed. That's Daniel Zampieri for Attempto Racing, trying to pick them off, but in fact they're trying to pick themselves off 2 and 3.
Well, I mean, I know this is the end of the season and sort of it's almost like an end of term atmosphere, but you know, when you're racing your teammates, even though it is the end of the season, you don't want to get involved. But 86 goes side by side into turn 5 of the 75, and that's going to, is that a little bit of damage to the front of that, one of those little winglets on the front of the Mercedes? The McLaren now looks to look up the inside. Can Rob Bell do something? No, he's not close enough to do so.
It's Alvaro Parent who's taken over the second stint. Rob couldn't make the progress he wanted. This is just not what Alvaro
up
wants.
The inside again, coming up the hill into turn 9.
He wants to be past this 86 Mercedes. He wants to be past the car, and he's got to pick himself up the order because they're down in 17th position. They started in 16th. Now they're down in 17th. Just don't seem to have the straight line speed here at the Circuit of Catalunya. What they do have is great cornering ability, but just not getting the chance to lose it. It looks like they're going to be picked off by one of the Audis. That should be Nico Müller.
Yes, it is.
Number 4.
And it is Nico Müller. And I mean, Alvaro Parent is having a battle ahead of him. He's got to watch behind him because he is vulnerable with that lack of speed where the 2 parts of the circuit you want it. Down into these final 2 rather tight left, right, then onto the much more enjoyable turn 16, back onto the straight. Doesn't matter how quick Alvaro Parent comes on, almost repeating Rob Bell. You can see the look on his face, thinking, well, how far can you push the limit? That's the limit. Watch now the number 4, Nico Müller, going to get a run down the inside. He's got it, but Alvaro Parent might try the yes. I think the back end of the Audi is sliding wide. It did. So he under braking, the back end of the Audi went wide, and that was well read by Alvaro Parent, and he got back that position.
Well, don't forget, he said on the opening lap of the qualifying race this morning, he was just simply trying to keep out of the way of someone else braking too hard. Nissan nearly off the circuit, and paid the price with that drive-through penalty, and that's why Rob Bell, we just saw him in the pit garage, is 86, dives inside 75. That's Jules Kowiak making an instant impact, goes inside Salaquada. That is why, unfortunately for McLaren, they are where they are, and in their hopes of taking outright victory in the championship. Don't forget, when they won the Endurance Cup, they did so by finishing in 30th position, scoring no points at the Nürburgring. Here they had not that luxury. They're coming from behind.
Pit window now closed, and this is one of the feistiest events, both this morning and this afternoon. Baz Linder's looking, and he knows that there's not an awful lot that they are going to be able to do to try and take this joint title. So down the hill in the 23 Nissan, runs wide, the Ferrari stays wide, just lets these cars get through a little bit of a hip and shoulder just to make sure the Audi's got the space. The Ferrari steps out of the way as we go back on board with the 58 McLaren coming through that long
he had to cut up the inside to duck inside that Ferrari in the background. He did that very tidily, but again, a chance to see what a great camera shot that is, but there just doesn't seem to be the speed. For Baz Linder's down in the garage, 59 pit, he knew they had an outside chance of the overall title, but he could just see after the problem in the first race, he knew the performance wasn't with the car today, and they've had it off the circuit the whole time with Alvaro Parent.
Absolutely, I mean, that's the second lap in succession. He's dropped the left rear wheel off into that gravel. So the 25 Audi and the 85 Mercedes going at it again.
Nice battle for 9th place. Roman Montsami, Jazam and Jafar, but we think Jafar should have the quicker car beneath him. Let's see.
Well, he thought about going the long way around the outside. Now he's forced the issue and got himself into position to go into turn 4 on the inside, and he can consolidate that as long. Well, I tell you, it's going to be close. The Audi's managed to stay with the Mercedes all the way around. Has the advantage coming into turn 5. Jafar will have to defer, get off the throttle, try and make the undercut as the Audi runs wide, but no, good racing.
Very, very good racing indeed. It looks as though he'd done enough, and Julie did, but it took 2 of them to tango and not take each other off. And certainly through the course of the race, a lot of drivers haven't been quite as circumspect, but it paid off very well indeed for Roman Monti in car number 25. One of the 2 from Santalok Junior team now riding with Maxi Boog, seeing if he can finally get past up into 6th place ahead of Alessio Picariello in the number 5 Phoenix Racing Audi. And I must say, I'm really impressed with this little lineup. Nikolai Moller-Madsen really picked up the form in this race after not really impressing me that much through practice. But we talked this weekend, it's all about getting your car right to keep your tyres sweet as long as you can be. And maybe that's what the Dane was doing, just running what the team wanted him to do. Now, don't forget, this number 8 Bentley, Andy Soucek, Spanish racer on home ground. Running around in 2nd place, but we've still had that warning that
we saw
unsafe release.
There was a
pit entry
in the case of the Bentley. We didn't see what that particular alleged offence might have been. In the meantime, Andy Soucek running as quickly as he can, and lap times are within a tenth or a couple of tenths of
the leading Mercedes, Felix Rosenqvist, who has this 88 car, in the second part of the season, has always looked as if it had the potential to take a victory, whether it was in an endurance or in a sprint event. But now Rosenqvist has got that clear air, 6 seconds advantage over the second place Bentley, which is under investigation, and a further 7.7 seconds ahead of the third place 33 Audi. So this could be happy days for Felix Rosenqvist and Tristan Vautier.
Well, it certainly can, and clearly ACA ASP is a team that's really on the rise, doing really well in the Pro-Am Cup. But for Tristan Vautier, Felix Rosenqvist and the team boss, former Formula 3000 racer, you know, could be heading for their first win. Haven't been on the podium in the Sprint Cup. Let's look at the order in the race. Felix Rosenqvist leading by 6 seconds in that 88 Mercedes. They're not at the sharp end of the championship. Robin Frientz is third on the circuit, and of course that looks very good for victory in the Sprint Cup for his teammate Enzo Ida. But the 84 Mercedes is 7th overall, good for a handful of points in the overall GT Series, the 10-round championship, if you will. Championship challenger, where is it? It's down in 15th place, way back. That's Alvaro Parente. It doesn't look as though Garage 59 will be able to challenge today. So the Bentley on our screens, second at the moment, still under investigation for a pit entry infraction or not. Being chased down now by Robin Frientz. After their pit stops, the gap between them was, I think, 5.7 seconds, and you could see immediately that Robin was right, going for it, really setting the fastest laps, and he's closed that gap down. Vincent Abril, watching the race, Stephen Kane, the number 7 Bentley crew, and Maxime Soulet, the 7 crew, don't get to play today. It's a shame, they would have been a factor.
84 looks to can pass down the inside, but again, the same old story. Gets out in the clean air and just kind of stalls out. So the Audi is able to comfortably lead into turn 1, and at the same time, Maximilian Buch pushes hard all the way around, got more grip from the Mercedes coming through turn 3, got an opportunity now to move up to the inside. The defence from the Audi goes back to the left-hand side, but can he make an undercut? The defence from the 5 Audi is sufficiently strong that Buch can't take a chance. He can't take the risk of maybe coming into contact in the event, and doing so puts this championship that they're battling for into jeopardy.
Yeah, it's a question of controlled risk, and every time he has to run a little bit wide there after a move doesn't quite work, the Lamborghini behind ought to close in a little bit. That is Luca Stoltz, and not only the drivers getting fit, you can see how hard they're working, but the team bosses too. Team manager car number 99 to race control image.
This is the best chance we've got now, and the 5, Monty has been really forced into a number of errors all the way around those last 2 or 3 corners. Mercedes on the outside coming into turn 9, the Audi on the inside, still not conceding in the Lamborghini, looking to join. So Buch thought he'd got the job done, but when it came to the braking zone, suddenly he's got the Audi, that blue and white Audi, up his inside, and suddenly he's the one on the being wrong-footed.
Yeah, you have to say that Alessio Picciariello has really been placing his car exactly where he needs to stay ahead. So little smiles down in the pit lane, great racing out on the circuit, and over the last few laps, Luca Stoltz in that number 19 Lamborghini has really closed in, and as much as anything, I think that shows how much the 84 Mercedes with Maxi Buch is being held up. He said to you, we don't really have the speed here. He hasn't found it as yet.
It's strange to understand why, but that's the story, and once again, makes the progress down the straight, picks up some slipstream, pulls out, and what happens, just like somebody puts up their hand and says, that's it, no more speed. But he did forced errors out of the 5 Audi around the middle of the circuit through turns 6 and 7. So maybe he will do it again. Maybe this time he will be able to then take control. Look how much quicker he is through turn 3 than the Audi. Again, can he get up the inside? No, on the exit. The Audi still's got that exit speed.
Right, a little something I'm going to throw into the mix. This is the battle. Maxi Buch is the 7th, Picciariello in the number 5 Audi 6th, Luca Stoltz in the 19 Lamborghini behind them, just set a lap that was 3 and a bit seconds quicker last time around. Yasemin Jafar in the 85 Mercedes, racing on his own. He's got clear air. This lot are tripping each other up at every corner, but suddenly Yasemin Jafar said one of the fastest laps of the race is closing right in.
Well, I mean, that's somewhat telling, because in clear air, that's a very strong lap time in race context. When you consider that the race leader's last lap was 1:50.0, now he hasn't got any threat. He's 6.2 seconds ahead of the Bentley. Nevertheless, Yasemin Jafar has found something.
Just coming into the top of the shot there, through turn 9, and now a move down into turn 10. But where does Picciariello put his Audi? where it needs to be. Can there be enough acceleration? No, not from the 84 Mercedes off the circuit. Was that a little helping hand, John?
No, but he was entitled to rush. I mean, you say entitled, it's part of the give and take. If you want to go the long way around the outside, you have to be prepared to run off the racetrack. Dominic Baumann shakes his head and thinks that was a no-brainer. It was never, ever going to work. But, you know, you have to go up the hill. I thought he was going to hit the back of the Audi. So late in the brakes coming down into these final two tight corners. There's the battle for second place now. 33 right onto the rear wing of the number 8 Bentley. Andy Soucek has been run down by.
So now we wondered why number 8 Bentley was under investigation. Unsafe release. Wow, he left a lot of rubber and put it sideways. John, we commented on the time there was an engineer in the pit lane, or a mechanic in the pit lane, in and out. We're leaving it to the officials, but that was quite a saucy moment in the pits. But look at this driver really flying. Jafar. 1 minute 48.5, 1.5 seconds quicker than the race leader last time around. He's going to be on their tail very soon indeed. Maybe he's going to be able to come and help his teammate by relieving the pressure from Lucas Stoltz behind. 14 minutes left. How have we got to that point in the race?
Well, I think it's going to be a big ask for anything that Jasmine Jafar could do, but certainly by closing down onto the back of the Audi, that will distract what's going on. All Book needs to do is think about what's going on ahead as we go back to the 33.
It's great on board with Robin Freins, and you can see how Andy Soucek starting to run out wide in his efforts at turn 9. He doesn't stand alone in that, but Freins was much tidier over the corner. Kamsa at the top of the hill there, turn 9. Now he gets the slower part of the circuit. It's trying to get the move done. This is going through turn 12. You turn right, you turn right, but he's getting closer and closer to the Bentley. Don't forget, the Bentley under investigation for that unsafe release from its pit stop.
And you can just see how much more bite and grip the Audi has compared to the Bentley. Again, right under the rear wing of the Bentley coming through. Final turn 16. This is going to be an opportunity for the Belgian driver. You know, the Bentley punches a big hole in the air, but it's got good straight line speed. The Audi not able to do anything on that first sector of the straight.
Okay, this battle for 6th place. Picciariello, then Book, Stoltz, and then right on the tail. He's closed up in no time at all. Is Yasemin Jafar coming to play his part in the 85 Mercedes, of course, going very well for HTP Motorsport in the championship. Getting closer and closer, but now he's got to see where he can make a move. He's clearly got the speed round the corners. What's he like down the straight? And certainly you have to presume that Yasemin Jafar in the Mercedes, the back of that grouping, was the driver who had a good set of new boots to go playing with.
Yeah, but now that he's caught up to a train of cars, he's going to find himself in the very same situation that these 3 cars are in. He'll not make any further progress for the same reasons.
Unless he sees fit to make a move. There was a comment about contact in the qualifying race. They came out on with a wee punishment for that one. But number 8, can the Bentley hold on ahead of number 33 Audi? Will Robin Freins be able to get up into 2nd place? But either way, it looks as though victory in the Sprint Cup for 2016 will go the way of his teammate Enzo Ida. Yasemin Jafar, has he made that move down the inside, pay off? The Lamborghini driver's not backing off, but Stoltz is now passed. So he caught. You said he wouldn't pass. He has, John.
He did.
Now,
I think that
it's his teammate ahead, of course. Yes, 84 ahead of 85.
And I think that was a fairly straightforward pass for the young Thai driver, a Malaysian driver.
So Ida, team manager, race car number 8, drive-through penalty for 99. That's
the Dusseldorf, Nicky Katzberg car. So drive-through penalty for causing a collision.
They're 11th at the moment. That will take them completely out of the chance of points, because at the moment they're just 3 seconds down away from the final point. So on we go. Bentley holding on to 2nd place. Felix Rosenquist in the red 88 Mercedes, 6.2 seconds clear. Andy Soucek holding on by under half a second to 2nd place from Robin Freins. Such a charging drive in the number 33 Audi. And then comes this gaggle of car. We've got Frederic Verschoor in 4th place, the number 1 Audi, 63 Lamborghini, and then this battle. Picciariello in 6th, Book in the grey and red Mercedes in 7th. Yasemin Jafar now up into 8th in the sister car from HTP Motorsports, and down into 10th place Lucas Stoltz. Final point at the moment going to car number 25, and Roman Monti, his Santalot Racing entry. So for Dominic Baumann, it's so hard. You just have to stand and wait. But at the moment they are heading for outright honours in this championship.
So again, gets
12 points clear.
Yes, but look, Mercedes tries to get up alongside the Audi coming in to turn 4. Once again, he's going to go the long way around. That makes the cut back, but then
Coming out of turn 4, he's going to be on the outside of the entry into turn 5. Jasmine Jafar, look at him. He's ducking and diving and trying to find something. He's going to, if he can get past the 84 car, I think he's going to take it.
Well, I think he's dived up the inside and looks like that move is going to be pulled off. So 84, they know they don't have to take risks. They're sufficiently far ahead. No points coming the way of the championship challenger.
Remember what happened in Spa with Jasmine Jafar and Yelma Berman? I mean, HTP must be going nuts when they see that kind of close racing between these two cars at a crucial point in the race.
But what you can see going through turn 9, the tail came right out from Jasmine Jafar as he went towards the edge of the circuit. He wrestled it back going. That gave the advantage back to the 84 car with Maxi Book. What tension, and enjoying it all. He'll enjoy it on the replays when he actually gets to take the time to look at it. The number 5 Audi going so well. Alessio Picariello picking it up from where Nikolai Moller-Madsen did such a strong opening stint down to turn 13. Couldn't get any closer. Last lap we saw the 84 Mercedes almost out-braking himself and clipping the back of the Audi. Didn't quite manage it, but these cars are covered by 3 fire blankets.
Yeah, the Audi is, and contact between 2 Audis down. As that down at the end of turn 1.
That's number 3.
Okay, it is number 3 is one of those cars. So how did that come together? In fact, that was down at the end of turn 9. I think he's contact with number 3. That's the Batista Jimenez car, and the other one limping back as well. So we saw them getting very close at an earlier phase in the race, and ultimately they managed to do something which you can see damage to the right rear, and I don't know if that's a puncture or not. In the meantime, back to this battle, and look, Book again right up behind the Audi through. Jafar looking to go the wrong way round, the long way, not the wrong way, the long way. And some might say it's the wrong way round. But again, look, 84 can't just have enough. For some reason, the exit speed of the 85 car.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say it got closer. Contact with the back of the number 5 Audi. Bodywork flying in the air. Have either of them been delayed by that? Now I expect the flash of 85 up the outside. Well, it went for it, but there wasn't enough space. And now Lucas Stoltz and the Lamborghini's fighting back. This is so boring, John, isn't it?
Well, 84 goes way wide and goes off track. So that lets both the Lamborghini and the 85 Mercedes goes through. So in one corner, the Mercedes 84 has lost 2 places. And that was he just put himself in the wrong part of the racetrack at the wrong time.
And almost ironically, had he let the feisty Jafar go past, he probably would have lost 1 place, not the 2. Almost need a camera to be looking at Baz Linders' face as number 3 limps in with the front left puncture, because this could be giving some hope to the McLaren crew. At the moment, 84 just has to continue where it is, not take any risks, and the Lamborghini has gone past as well.
Now, what was it doing out there? The 86 car, Jules Simkowiak, coming out of turn 3. I mean, has he got a puncture? Is that a left front puncture? Hard to tell from that shot. The car looked like it was slightly down on the left side.
So there is the battle. 85 is still in it, 84 is still in it. It was 86 that went for the long ride, and that is parked at the side of the circuit, on the circuit. Now it's luckily being reversed off.
I think he's got on that left front, looks like it's a puncture.
Waved yellow flags. That'll be a relief for some of the drivers out there on the circuit. But what we have is Alessio Picariello at the front of that little grouping. He's still holding down 6th place. Lucas Stoltz coming good now in the Lamborghini. He was in the right place to benefit when the teammates from HTP Motorsport, the Mercedes duo, were doing their place swapping. He dived up the inside, and Maxi Book has lost ground, but he's still heading towards outright victory in the 2016 Blancpain GT Series. 10 rounds. This is round 10. We started the season at Misano with the first of the sprint rounds, went to Monza for the first of the endurance rounds, and it's been enthralling racing ever since. The Blancpain GT Series rising to new heights, and a driver rising to yet more heights is the driver giving chase in the number 33 Audi, getting right onto the tail of the number 8 Bentley. There is nothing he can do about it. More contact under investigation. That was the clash between the number 2 and 3 Audis. Teammates, don't forget, John.
I spoke to one of the stewards in lunchtime break, and he said, we've never been so busy. There's so much issue being brought to us. By the time we get to investigate it, there's probably about 5 laps down the road. So there is so much that they've been given to do. Here we see this battle continuing. Robin Friends doesn't need to get into any area that would resolve or evolve in any kind of contact end to Eid. Well, he just wants this race to finish with over just 5 minutes and 55 seconds to go.
Well, the good news for Enzo, though his car is 0.3 of a second down on the Bentley in that battle for second place, Frederick Vervish actually is now closing in 1.14 seconds behind. He's a teammate, but then again, we've seen teammates clash this afternoon. Not just once, more than once, and not just the Audi teams. We've seen Mercedes getting very, very close to each other. And And this battle for 6th place continues to rage. Lucas Stoltz in the Lamborghini now chasing after Alessio Picariello. Then the 84 championship leading Mercedes is in 8th place. Yasemin Jafar back down tonight. So that change lap had the change of position. And then tucked in behind, Romain Monti heading for the final point in the 25 Audi. So place changes on almost every single lap. Here is the place change. Out of turn 3, up into turn 4. That was, sorry, a lap ago. That was a replay. That was the bodywork being flipped off. And the Lamborghini at the back of that group at that moment. And it all changed the other way very shortly afterwards. So rear bodywork on Audis seems to be at a premium this afternoon. For Dominic Baumann, it's getting closer, under 5 minutes until the checkered flag needs to be unfurled. Outright victory. The driver on the right leaning forward to look at the screens, Enzo Ida. He won't be taking outright victory, but he will be winning the Sprint Cup for 2016. The crowning moment so far of his career, 5 years in GT racing, getting faster and faster, and this will be his day of days here in Barcelona. Great battling. That might be over 6th place, but it could just as easily be over the lead of the race. The lead of the race, though, 6 and a bit seconds clear. Felix Rosenqvist, the ACA ASP Mercedes crew. Great start by Tristan Vautier, and Felix has done the rest. But what we're seeing as we count down towards the end is the headlights still work. Thank you very much on the 84 Mercedes. Here is our race leader, Felix Rosenqvist. He'll be about 6 seconds clear, waiting for Andy Soucek. 5.993 seconds down in 2nd place in the number 8 Bentley. Robin Freitz, the 33 Audi, right behind the Bentley. Then a gap of just under a second now. It's coming down, the number 1 Audi. Don't forget that started the qualifying race in 18th place, constantly working its way forward. There is that number 8 Bentley, and almost its shadow as it chases around is the 33 Audi. And look how close the number 1 Audi is to their tail as well. And who's closing on their tail? The 63 Lamborghini. So 2nd through to 5th place. Look how close it is after nearly an hour of racing. The Bentley could and should stay on, but don't forget they're under investigation for an unsafe release from a pit stop. That's semantics at the moment. Car 86 flashed onto the screen. That has pulled off near turn 6. Of course, we saw that as confirmation. That was Jules Simkowiak's car. Team manager of car number 3 to race control immediately. Tension wherever you choose to look at it. They're trying to stay calm down at WRT. Thierry Tassin, Vincent Voss and Pierre Dieudonné, the brains trust of that Belgian Audi team. But what they need to know at the moment is the driver of car number 33 is heading towards victory in the Sprint Cup. He needs to come away with no points, and the 84 Mercedes come away with the 25 points for outright victory. The 84 Mercedes is only going to pick up 3 points for 8th place, so they need not worry. But the 84 Mercedes crew are heading to be outright champions for 2016. They've long since, I think, said to themselves the Sprint Cup was a chance, that's gone, but the big one is what we're aiming for. Bentley, bittersweet meeting for them here in Barcelona. The number 7 car, which actually at that point had been the faster of the pair, out on Saturday morning. Unfortunate contact with the wall on the entrance to turn 3. Didn't get to race, but if they can retrieve their weekend with a podium, will it be for 2nd place? Will it be 3rd? This battle for 6th place, however, continues to entertain as Felix Rosenqvist starts yet another lap. 32 laps he's on to now. 6 seconds clear, still of the Bentley of Andy Soucek, Spanish racer on home ground. Robin Freitz right behind, and then comes Frederick Vervisch, 4th place in the number 1 Audi, and the 63 Lamborghini of Mirko Bortolotti. And then, of course, comes that train of 4 cars led by Alessio Picariello in the number 5 Phoenix Racing Audi. They're a good 24 seconds behind Bortolotti. They're fighting for position, not to gain, just not to lose. That is the quest. But in 8th place, the 84 Mercedes, that's the one jinking around with the broad red stripe, heading for the outright championship. Got a little bit close to the Lamborghini ahead of it, and was quite late onto the brake. And 85 not averse to making a move to go past. That's Yasemin Jafar, seeing if he can sweep around the outside at turn 3, having a look. Now he's trying to get the faster run up the inside into turn 4. They got that short straight, but no, 84 has pulled across, blocking the Malaysian racer, saying, no thank you, I am staying ahead. Just over 1 minute until the checkered flag will come out. It will take a miracle for anybody to do anything about Felix Rosenqvist. He and his teammate Tristan Vautier will be taking victory this afternoon into the final minute now. Who will come home in 2nd place, though? Will it be the Bentley number 8, or will it be Robin Freitz in the number 33 Audi? The number 1 Audi just behind us. The Bentley clouts the curbs towards the tail end of the lap, stays in 2nd place, but he is working very, very hard indeed to stay at the front of the field. And in the battle of the Silver Club, it's worth mentioning the cars in 6th and 7th place. Picariello and Lucas Stoltz. They're battling for Silver Cup honours in this race, the final race of the year, but the clock is almost ticked down to 0, and at that point the checkered flag will be proffered. Await until the race leader comes into sight. Here we are, on to the final lap now. Down to turn 1 for the final time goes that battle for second place. It's still the Bentley ahead of the number 33 Audi. Robin Friese knows he doesn't have to take any risks. He can come home with the Sprint Cup. Will go to his teammate for this weekend, Enzo Ida, that man there. Come on, Enzo, you're nearly there. Thumbs up and a smile. It looks good. It doesn't look as though Frederick Vervisch is close enough behind in the number 1 Audi to trouble the 33 Audi. We're riding with Robin Friese around turn 3 on the final lap. Very wide run out of that long right-hander by the Bentley, but gets back onto the circuit ahead of the 33 Audi. Here is the battle for 6th place. The 5 Audi and the 19 Lamborghini fighting over Silver Cup honours for younger drivers there in 6th and 7th overall, but the championship leader, the driver heading for 2016's ultimate honours, is in the 84 Mercedes. It's 8th place on the day, but it will be victory across the entire season for the HTP Mercedes crew. We've seen Dominic Baumann smiling in the pits. He'll be smiling big time any moment now, but Maxi Buch bringing it home in 8th place. Here is that battle for second place through turn 9 for the final time, up to the top of the hill. Now they go down the slope to turn 10. Will there be a dive up the inside from number 33? Of course there will, because Robin Friese is at the wheel. He fancies it. They love it. Just get back on the circuit. But there's a clomp. The Bentley comes across, gives it a cloud. It was worth a go. The fact is the 33 is still going. Has he got a puncture? The tail was swinging round there. Oh, drama right to the finish. He just has to trickle down through the final sequence of corners. There's turn 13, down to 14 and 15. He had a go. He couldn't help himself. Victory in the final race of the year, going to the number 88 crew. Clear win, 6 and a bit seconds for the ACA ASP Mercedes team. This is the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. It's the Bentley, then the 2 Audis, and so the Sprint Cup goes to Enzo Ida. He needed just 2 points today. He needed to finish 9th, and there is a very happy first-time champion. But outright victory in the series. Still waiting for them to come to the finish, though. If it's 8th place, that's absolutely fine for the 84 Mercedes. Here he comes. He's holding down 8th place, because, of course, the only car that could have challenged him overall is running in 13th, is behind him. That's all that matters. The McLaren couldn't do it on the day. Rob Bell will not be champion. Silver Cup honours to Alessio Piccardiello in the number 5 car, but Dominic Baumann for Mercedes, finger up. You are the outright champion with your co-driver in the 84 Mercedes. That is Maxi Buch. Job is done, but what a day of contrasts. And for HTP, huge congratulations. They take the top prize. And so many championships settled up and down the pit lane, not just the Sprint Cup and the overall honours, but don't forget, in top level, in Pro-Am, in Silver Cup, in Am, so many classes to consider. But right now, today belongs to the 88 ACA ASP team, to those people there, HTP Motorsport, that's the 84 crew, Dominic Baumann and Maxi Buch. They are the champions of the entire season. And of course, for Enzo Ida, he is the Sprint Cup champion, being congratulated by everybody who comes into his path. So what a race. And now Robin Friese can just cruise home. He couldn't resist that dive on the final lap up the inside of the Bentley to try and take second place. There was the contact between the two down as they exited turn 10. Damage not too bad. We don't think they will come back. Oh dear, 89 went off on the final lap of the race, and that's Jean-Philippe Belloc. Was that after the checkered flag? But he's not going to get back to Parc Fermé like that, and that was running well in the Pro-Am Cup. But congratulations from everyone to Enzo Ida, the victor in the Sprint Cup, and for HTP Motorsport, they have the crowning glory of the year. 8th place today, but it matters not. They did what they had to do. Maxi Buch and Dominic Baumann to stay ahead in the championship of Rob Bell. Rob Bell couldn't score today. He ended up in 13th place overall, with Alvaro Parent bringing the car home. But that was a race of so much excitement, and of course, all races at the final round of a championship. If you've got every single championship open for someone to take a victory in, everyone was still open at this 10th and final round, and that's exactly how it should be. First car back to Parc Fermé is the car that finished this afternoon in 3rd place. Robin Friese riding on board with him now, just bringing it to a close. Now he can draw breath and get out, and no doubt receive the congratulations of his teammate Enzo Ida. People pouring up the pit lane to stand beneath the podium position, and there is Vincent Vos, boss of Belgian Audi Club Team WRT. Thumbs up for him. Congratulations. Great to see the gentlemanly behaviour, the sporting behaviour up and down the pit lane. And Robin Frientz, third, so nearly second, but it matters not. What he had to do was make sure that they took the victory in the Sprint Cup, and so they have. 5 of the 10 rounds counted towards the Sprint Cup, 5 to the Endurance Cup, and the overall trophy spread across all 10 events has been won by the crew that finished in 8th place this afternoon. The 84 Mercedes, Maxi Book and Dominic Baumann. But there, Robin Frientz climbing out, puffing out his cheeks. And that is a victory to him. And in the Silver Cup, it was the number 5 Audi from the 19 Lamborghini, and down in 20th place, but 3rd in the Silver Cup. So let's have a look at the points. Enzo Ida does take the Sprint Cup honours. He had it almost in his hands earlier today after victory in that first race. His teammate Christopher Mies ends up with 2nd overall, not here this weekend. Baumann and Book could not topple him. And so with the help of Robin Frientz, the driver who's being congratulated there, victory in the Sprint Cup, and a lot of the top faces in the mix there, but of course many titles to go for. And we know for sure the driver there with the spectacles, the big smile, luckily a lightweight teammate in terms of weight, not in terms of driving talent. Robin Frientz, what a strong afternoon. So I think we're going to hear very shortly with a very, very happy crew. Let's go down and hear from Robin Frientz, but first of all, the Sprint Cup champion, Enzo Ida.
Robin Frientz, Enzo Ida, all I can say is congratulations. How do you feel? Awful question to ask, but how do you feel?
I think we had a pretty good weekend and a win and a third. Yeah, I'm really happy for Enzo. He won the championship. I'm here to put the job, and we did it.
You certainly did do the job, and Enzo, you started. Obviously going to be a lot of pressure into turn 1. You let other cars go past, clearly, because you didn't need to race them.
Yeah, that's what I told before the start, that I would not take any risk, so I did not. The Merc was faster, Maxime was faster, and I know Maxime since a long time, so I didn't really want to make his life difficult. It's a pity at the end that Andy, well, there's no problem, but we didn't need to finish on the podium, but 3rd place to end the season and to win the championship is amazing. It's an amazing season for me.
I mean, Robert, you're going to jump on a plane, I think tomorrow, to go to Hong Kong, but you're going to be staying here partying. I can hear the drums banging already.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna destroy Barcelona, I think. Perfect. And
I'll let you get on with that one. Well done, Robin, too.
A figure of speech, of course, from Enzo Ida, but certainly party very, very well due, and great that his whole family is down here as well. So the plaudits this afternoon, we know the destiny now of the Sprint Cup. And let's hear from our race winners, Felix Rosenquist and the driver who started with John Watson, Tristan Vautier.
Tristan, congratulations. This has been a long time coming for the pair of you.
Yeah, there was so much unaccomplished stuff during the season. We had the pace every weekend, but always something, and we wanted to get that win. Finally, we get it. It was an amazing race. Very fun for me at the start. Tough battle, but fair with Enzo. I had a good run, and I thought I'd try on the outside. Didn't work in Hungary, but here I made it stick. So then I just focused on not pushing the tires too hard, because degradation was really bad, and make a big gap, because I knew every 10th of a second I gained will help us for later in the race, especially against the Audis, who had a lot of speed. And hats off to Felix, he did the job, and our team owner, Jerome, who has done a lot for the team. And yeah, thanks for everybody involved. Great job, and yeah, thanks to the team, thanks to ACA, thanks to Mercedes AMG.
Well done, you made it look easy, those 2 passes. Felix, congratulations, first time on the podium in a Blancpain event. Not on the podium, victory. I mean, that's been, as I said to Tristan, you guys have earned it, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I have to really thank Tristan, because his start was one of the best I've seen. His stint was also really good, so I just have to do the job in the end. You know, I just had to manage the gap. We had a really good pit stop, as I said, and yeah, for me it was quite straightforward. So yeah, great thanks to the team, also our engineer that really turned the car over from the quali race to this one. I think one of the strongest cars in the main race, so it was really impressive.
First of many, I think. Congratulations.
So, very happy crew there for ACA ASP. Team boss Jerome Policon leading them off up to the podium, and no doubt big celebrations from them. In fact, already the podium ceremony has has started. For some of the team crews, of course, it's the end of a championship, so many championships to be settled, but that was quite a race. Exemplary from the ACA ASP Mercedes crew, and that battle right the way to the end between number 8 Bentley and the 33 Audi. And let's find out our overall champion this year, Maxi Book with John Watson.
Maxi, congratulations. It looks like it's a shock or just exhaustion. I mean, that was stressful all the way through.
Yeah, because for sure it's amazing to win the championship. I don't know if it's official or not, but yeah, to end the championship and win it like in this way, it's not really satisfying for me and I guess for the team as well. Because yeah, the race was really difficult when you are stuck behind somebody who's not who's making life really hard. Yeah, and that's why I'm
and also the 85 car caught up to you, and I thought, what are these two guys racing each other for? Have you any idea?
No, we were not racing each other. He was just watching my back. He was called to maintain position. But at one point, because I was off because of the number 5 car, yeah, he overtook me, but he let me pass then as well.
Dominic, what are your thoughts now, Dominic, after this? Look, there we go, teammates. Yeah, a little quiet word between the two guys. Come on, Dominic, give us what your thoughts are. I mean, you must be over the moon on this.
Well, the weekend was really bad for us, so we were never really on performance. But yeah, the overall title is not so bad. Team title is not so bad. We're really lucky for the team and for us two drivers. Yeah, crazy.
I mean, for lap after lap after lap, you almost were making that pass, but you couldn't quite make it stick.
No, it was a really hard fight. Then a car from behind came. I guess it was Fantor. And I just couldn't get past. I don't know, it was really hard to get close to him. Then the front tires, they start to drop a bit and everything. So, but luckily we did it to the end, and this is what counts on this weekend.
Well done, guys. You've made a team owner, I think, very happy. He's been looking at what that results in later in the year. Well done.
So yes, the dissatisfaction drivers don't want to take titles by finishing 8th, and that was a hard-fought 8th, but they'll look back with pride later on. Maxi Book and Dominic Baumann for HTP Motorsport, the Mercedes crew. Looking down on the race-winning Mercedes today, that's from a different camp. That's ACA ASP, the 88 car of Tristan Vautier, who started the race, and Felix Rosenkrantz, who brought it home 7.229 seconds to the good ahead of that battle that went right down to the final lap between the number 8 Bentley and the 33 Audi. And here are those final positions. There is that gap of 7 and a bit seconds from the ACA ASP Mercedes. Bentley and Audi, 2nd and 3rd, and then the number 1 Audi that started the first race this morning in 18th place, worked its way, Laurens Vanthoor and Frederik Vervisch, up right on the tail of that grouping, alongside just ahead of the Lamborghini number 63. But the fiercest battle of all was that battle from the number 5 Audi backwards of the next 4 cars, covered by next to no time. Rob Bell and Alvaro Parent didn't want to be on the second screen because that means they don't score points, and their hopes of taking overall honours to add to Rob Bell's victory in the Endurance Cup 2 weeks ago ends up with them not managing to topple Baumann and Book. So Rob Bell will end the season 2nd on overall points. Not a bad place to be in such a competitive championship. And at the end of that race, we had all but 2 of the cars making it to the finish. We saw Jules Simkowiak parking up with a puncture, we think, and the number 3 Audi retired to the pits with some damage after contact with the sister car from number 2. And here we have the points in the Sprint Cup, 102 points, so clear of the rival Baumann and Book crew. And Christopher Mies not here this weekend, but he spent all the 4 previous rounds with Enzo Ida. But for Enzo Ida, he is the 2016 Sprint Cup champion. Simkowiak and Schneider failed to finish this race, so they don't advance, and they end up in 4th place. Laurens Vanthoor and Fred Vervisch moving towards the front, but it's the champion, also from Belgium, Enzo Ida. He is the Sprint Cup champion for 2016. But the overall points, it's Maxi Book and Dominic Baumann, 10 points clear at the end of the day from Rob Bell, who couldn't score, having started from the 8th row this afternoon. Laurens Vanthoor advancing but stays in 3rd position. Maxi Soule and Andy Soucek, no wonder that 2nd place was so important for them. It moved them right into the mix in that battle to be 3rd. They didn't quite manage to move up a position, but what a strong season for those crews at the top. Maxi Book and Dominic Baumann top of the table, and Team WRT just edging out in the Sprint Cup ahead of HTP Motorsport with their sister team Belgian Audi Club Team WRT. They have so many R8 LMS Ultras, they came first and third, and ACA ASP coming strong at the end of the season to move up into fourth place. So that was the Sprint Cup thing, and then over the whole season, it's HTP Motorsport first, Belgian club WRT, Belgian Audi Club WRT, and then Team WRT. So the positions between those three outfits swapping around, but HTP Motorsport taking the overall honours from a team's point of view. And Garage 59 not scoring today, slipped back down to fourth place. And so, that's the racing completed for 2016, and in the Pro-Am class, a dominant victor. 251 points, 81 points clear of his own teammate, Michel Bronicheski, ahead of Giacomo Piccini. Then Morgan Moulin-Trafort and Jean-Luc Bobelic, third and fourth in the Pro-Am honours. Now we're starting to see, I think that's the Silver Cup runners coming up onto the podium there. We're waiting for the top three finishers. Third on the day, but to celebrate a Sprint Cup honours from the podium, Enzo Ida came here with a sizable advantage, but he's getting to have quite a day. And from what I can gather from the interview with John Watson, he's looking forward to quite a night as well. But here comes second place on the day, the man with the most luxuriant moustache in the paddock, Andy Soucek, and his teammate Maxime Soulet. And victors on the day, a very comfortable win in the end for Felix Rosenqvist and Tristan Vautier, John.
Yeah, I mean, by getting the advantage on the early part of the first stage of the race, Tristan Vautier just drove away. He consolidated that lead when they handed over to Felix Rosenqvist, and that was a comfortable victory. Well, comfortable 7.2 seconds, but you know, these are two young guys. They're coming from single-seater backgrounds, and they're way more mature than their actual ages are. So they've been racing since they've been kids and karts, and you know, they're hardened racers.
Well, Felix Rosenqvist may have to get to learn the words for the Marseillaise, but team boss for ACA ASP, Jérôme Policon, singing along from the edge of the podium. Happy man.
A proud man as well, and so he should be, because on these two, Vautier and Rosenqvist, they've got two outstanding young drivers who are going to have a great future in GT3 racing, and in particular with these Blancpain Sprint and endurance events. So they've managed to break that duck. They were very close to it on a couple of occasions earlier in the season, but have done so now.
So trophies aloft for the third place finishers, Enzo Ida and, of course, Robin Friens, and the Silver Cup's already presented to the drivers who won that class, Alessio Picariello and Nikolai Moller-Madsen. Second place on the day to the Bentley crew, the Bentley boys, Andy Soucek and Maxime Soulet. Little contact on the final lap, that was under investigation, but I can't think we'll see anything other than the racing incident there. Winning team trophy to Jérôme Policon, Team ACA ASP. He's put his racing career behind him and has built a very strong team, but the biggest trophies of all go to Felix Rosenqvist on the right, and the other one, here we go, to Tristan Vautier, who made such a strong start. And mature comments there from Enzo Ida. He didn't want to fight them. If they were quicker, he'd let them pass.
And I mean, that illustrates, you know, how he has grown as a racing driver, and he didn't allow that pressure, which is substantial, especially into turn one on the opening lap, to overwhelm, and he just allowed those other cars. They were quicker than him. He didn't resist. In fact, he pulled over at one point to let either the Mercedes or the Bentley go through, and just then gave the car to Robin Friens, who was able to then to bring the car comfortably back in third place, but crucially with more than enough points to spare for Enzo Ida to walk away with the Sprint Championship.
So SRO CEO out there, Stefan Rattel, presenting the big checks. Handshakes all round, and what a show the drivers put on today. 33 crews went out and really provided fantastic fireworks.
To me, that's been, these two races have been the most frenetic, I think, of the entire season. I mean, it was just, wherever you looked, there was action. And I mean, normally you don't see it quite so much down the back of the field, but there was no real back of the field. It was just the field.
It was the field. You almost didn't dare look at the timing screens. You had to keep looking at the monitors. Something happening all over the place. First spray of the champagne this evening for Enzo Ida and the other for the victory in the Sprint Cup, and for everyone up there, the Silver Cup winners, Nikolai Moller-Madsen with his back to us and Alessio Picariello, they're enjoying it. But for Felix Rosenquist and Tristan Vautier, as you suggest, John, many more to follow, one feels.
Oh yes, I think that's about, and you know, for the team, I mean, new team with a new product. HTP has been with Mercedes before. Last year they were, of course, with Bentley. But Jerome Powell come to take over the running of these cars in the, what you might call the pro end of the category. And there's going to be many more.
And it's great to see the reaction
moustache
to the fans.
Shaving the moustache. Fantastic.
Now, John, of course, 1976 Austrian Grand Prix, you had a beard and then you didn't. Well, similar concept.
Yes, I mean, in the case of Andy Soucek, I don't know what his agreement or bet was, but I mean, for Bentley, they've had a rough weekend yet again. So obviously there's been some kind of little private deal going on. Next time you're on the podium, Andy, off come the whiskers. And I mean, mine took a little bit longer to remove than that of Andy Soucek, but he's delighted, and what a great story. It just adds to the whole raft of stories we've had here this afternoon.
So presumably the deal was to get onto the podium. Maybe he prefers not to have a moustache. Well, so many happy faces, though. What a phenomenal season it's been. What a finale. You know, flying home tonight, we'll all be thinking about what happened when. It was just everywhere. Now, in the AM class, victory for the teammates. Claudio Stanovic, Stefan Lemeray, teammate behind. Then Vadim Gitlin, Talbot and Zanettini taking third place. That is the wrap on the 2016 Blancpain GT Series. We're looking forward to more of the same, bigger and better next year. Don't go away. It's been a fabulous season. Just after the fireworks, the dramatic finale for the Blancpain GT series, we've got more action for